How are you doing, Lizzie?
I am tired.
I
this
know. You
morning.
seem like you're in a bad mood today.
Well, I'm not in a bad
You're not
mood.
talkative. You're in a bad mood. And you're never in a bad mood.
No, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm not in a bad mood. I just like to get focused on what we're going to talk about. And last night there was a shit show literally on
That's what I was trying to lead into.
Oh my gosh. It was like last night, it's like 11 o'clock and maybe not 11, 10 o'clock. And my youngest comes down and she goes, Mom, there's like 5 police cars in our court. By the time it was all over, there was 7 police cars, an ambulance staged, a fire truck staged.
my
and my
God.
daughter was babysitting, one of my other daughters babysitting in the front of the neighborhood, and she wouldn't answer me. And I didn't want her to come back in the middle of it because the police officers had their guns drawn, and I was just frantic. My husband and I were frantic that she wasn't answering her phone, that she would drive up in the middle of this because our court was completely blocked off. So she finally did answer. My husband never raises his voice, never. He really doesn't. And he was like, "Where the hell have you been?" to my daughter. And she's like, "I'm babysitting. I just didn't have my phone ready." And he's like, "I didn't want you." We were just scared that she would drive up.
I totally
into that.
get it.
Because it was ugly. And knowing the neighbors that are there, they are not police lovers. They had they didn't ever have a Black Lives Matters sign, but they're the only people that many of us that do have Trump signs or whatever. The daughter, she's a grown daughter, she lives there and she hates all of us because we're patriots. They have drugs there all the time. They're in and out and domestic. And so I don't even know what happened, but I called a friend that's a police officer, and they're like, "Stay in your house," because if there's 7 police cars and a fire truck and an ambulance stage, they're expecting violence. So
I'm sorry.
that was just.
So you didn't get any sleep? Or little?
I did eventually get sleep. None of us, literally all of us, stayed up until we saw every police car leave. So, but they had it to where we couldn't see exactly what's going on because they had so much stuff staged around their house. You couldn't see much of what was happening in their driveway. So I don't know who they took away, but they came in guns a-blazing, literally.
Damn. Hey, Joe, you can play with the camera, right? This is the show before the show, by the way, everybody. Welcome in. You can play with the camera.
Yep.
Can you zoom in closer on us? I just want to see. I'd like to play with this. I like the shot, but there's still things. I mean, we bust our ass to do this, but
if I zoom in, it's going to cut your shoulders off.
Yeah, let me see. I still like that. Look at you, dude. This was your idea to be able to have all your controls in there.
Yep.
Joe is the best.
I like that better. I can see Lizzie's face.
You can see my face.
All right, we can stick with that. Whatever you want.
I like it. I like this when you can just everything.
I can even set this as a camera angle and then switch back and forth. Like I can set 8 different camera angles and just click a button and it'll immediately go to that. It's pretty cool.
We did the football show yesterday, the Kelly Mano show. We did swine stuff.
Swine stuff. What a combination. Kelly Mano and swine stuff.
Kelly Mano, swine report, and football 360.
That's right. And you didn't even mention Mark Kaysen. He's here too.
Oh,
every day.
You know what his big deal was yesterday?
What?
Donald Trump wants to regulate women's cycles. I'm like, what?
Oh my God.
I heard that. I didn't understand what he was saying.
He wants to tell you he wants to know if you're regulating your cycle so he can see if you can sneak in an abortion.
That's right. He literally thinks that Donald Trump is trying to regulate a lady's menstrual cycle with all this pro-life crap. Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting show.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and he's one of those people that makes some conservatives look like dumbasses because they're just literally fighting and fighting and fighting for pro-life issues in the state of Missouri, which I am hugely, bigly pro-life. But they need to tone it down a little bit because nothing else is getting done because they're still fighting for pro-life things. And what they're doing is they're galvanizing the Democrat base, like a Mark Kaysen. And they're saying radical things right now, like we're trying to, Donald Trump wants to tell women when they can wear a tampon. I mean, it's just bizarre.
I wouldn't say nothing's getting done. Ukraine's got more money.
Well, that's right. Ukraine's got a lot of money. So... yes, We literally need our legislators to be working on other things besides pro-life issues. Like, why don't we close our border for a minute? Why don't we lower gas prices? Why don't we drill, baby, drill? But instead, we've got people filibustering in the state of Missouri because they didn't get their way again. Yes, Donna, Kelly was on yesterday. You can find her. Kelly Mano has 2 pages. So you have to go to her public page to find it. And Kelly Mano is a great show to watch with all this crazy stuff going on, because she just talks, and she would say it's okay. She just talks about dumbass stuff the whole time, and we need dumbass stuff. She does. She just dumbass stuff.
This is the Lizzie I need.
Yeah, just dumbass. So, and that is a compliment to Kelly, because she talks about the funniest stuff that really we all do, but it doesn't mean anything. And right now we need some of that. So yes, she was here.
She also goes to Crime Con, and she likes to talk about like murder porn and all that good stuff.
Murder porn.
What the
Okay,
hell is
so when I
murder
say murder porn, it's like, you're watching SVU and all these other shows that all they do is like glamorize, but they glorify.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying.
Murder.
I get it.
This is the show before the show. Getting ready to start here. Appreciate everybody jumping in today.
And Trisha is absolutely right.
What'd she say?
She said, not even covering, meaning our mainstream media, not even covering border anymore with all the other distractions. So if you turn on Fox, like this morning I turned it on and was watching all the stations, and even Fox, it's just the college campus riots, Nobody's talking about the border. Nobody. And then the Democrats and some, conservatives, it's abortion. They got to stop that. Stop it. In the state of Missouri, the session ends in 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a day. Stop it. Do something.
Nothing's getting done there either.
It did in the House, but then it goes to the Senate, and then you have people grandstanding in the Senate.
No, that's what I mean.
Nothing gets done.
That's what I mean. You're talking
You're
about
right.
Missouri, right?
Yeah, well, and really anywhere. I mean, but right now, yes, in the state of Missouri, we've got a couple senators, and I'm not going to mention their name because it'll offend some people on here, but he's just a dumbass, and he won't sit down and shut up.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. We need to have Scott Fawn in because he's got the juice.
I was talking to him yesterday.
Yeah. Will he come on?
About what?
About, like, he can do a recap of what's happening in the session so our people can hear what's happening, not only in the state of Missouri, but really what a lot of our legislators are doing, and some that people think are very good. They're acting like babies, and when they don't get their way, they filibuster all the other good ideas too. So he's got the detail. And actually, we don't even actually have to have him on. If you just go to Scott Fawn on Twitter or Scott Fawn on Facebook, he has a weekly update of what's going on in Jeff City. It's a very good show. I listen to it every week.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Mike says, good morning. It's been a long night. I've been watching UCLA go down.
Yep, you're right,
All the
Mike.
distraction by the Uniparty.
That's
okay,
right.
Joe, we can go ahead and get the show started, big dog. Thank you, man. Let's get it on. And welcome to cancelthisshow.com. She is Lizzie Sparks. You're still Lizzie Sparks.
I am today. I might change to Larry Sparks tomorrow. My surgery's tonight. So just so that you know. So tomorrow, all of you just say, hi, Larry.
Now you got a penis.
So this is my last.
Now you have a vagina.
So today's my last day as Lizzie. I'll be Larry tomorrow, everyone.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Vic Faust.
Tune in tomorrow to see Larry. It's Free for All Friday.
Joe Pro Joe in the house as well. Cancelthisshow.com Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website. Cancelthisshow.com. Thanks for jumping in, guys. 8 to 10 a.m. We're here. We love it when you jump in on the People's Platform, all the comments on all the sites that we are on. You can find it at cancelthisshow.com, or you can just go to X. You can go to YouTube. You can go to Rumble, Facebook and Cloud Hub. Of course, catch us later all the time throughout the day on our audio platforms as well. Apple, Spotify, Google, you got it, all the usual listening sources. If you have ideas for interviews, for stories, let us know. We've got our free-for-all show Friday tomorrow. Both Kelly and Eric scheduled to come in tomorrow.
Yay.
We got them both coming in yet again.
Yay.
We'll see where they're. Joe's going to have to get ready for that. We got 4 of us in the studio again.
Yeah, that's fun. And Eric will sit on the crack. You got his crack ready, don't you? That's all we have to do tomorrow. Eric, go sit on your crack. We're all good.
Yeah, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we got news headlines today. Like, subscribe, share the show. Still looking for people to get X accounts and or like and follow us there. That's huge. I mean, we're ending shows with 200 people watching live just on that platform.
Yep, that's right.
I don't know how that's become so big. Not that the other platforms aren't. I know people talk, they can chat there, but the chat you say when you make a comment, it's there and it goes away.
It does.
But we're grateful to Elon.
Yeah, love
for
it.
the platform. God only knows that in a month it became by far like quadrupling the amount of people watching
really
live
has.
as the other sites.
That's right.
So when you see depending upon where you're watching, you may see like 30, 40, 50 people watching.
Yeah.
It's actually like 5 times that many.
That's right.
It's all over. So we're grateful for you guys jumping in. Once again, we've got a donate button on our website. If you want to help out what we do, we're grateful for that. We could use your donations as well. If you have ideas for sponsors, ideas for people who we could partner with from that standpoint, let us know. All right. It is Thursday. We've got a situation of 8:05. It is May 2nd. It's also National Prayer Day today.
Yes.
So we talk about prayer. Pray for our country, pray for your families. We pray for everything. We pray for an end to the rioting, the violence, all of the stuff that's going on. And we definitely pray. My prayers today are for the end of rhinos and the Uniparty.
Yeah.
That's a big,
good
strong
prayer.
border wall.
I love it. Those are perfect.
And you know what?
prayers.
There's nothing wrong in saying that. That's not
No, that's
offensive.
good.
It's not like, oh my God, we're over the top.
No,
Are we really over the top?
no. We're just telling the truth. And a lot of people don't want to hear the truth. I just don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Glenn says every day is a prayer day. It is for me. It is for Lizzie.
Me too.
We appreciate that. Guys, thanks for jumping in today. Okay. Coming up on the show, positive stories coming out of North Carolina from a few days ago. We couldn't get to it yesterday. We'll show you some real heroes on college campuses. There were protests last night, St. Louis University. It was, for the most part, peaceful, but it's what they were saying.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine a group of white hooded people walking on the SLU campus saying death to all blacks,
No.
death to all blacks, death to all blacks. But then again, it shows you how peaceful the Jewish culture really is and the Jewish people are. They're not out there trying to start fights or
That's
anything,
right.
which is interesting. More from what happened at UCLA. Now the House is trying to get involved and eliminate these student visas. Thank God that the Republicans control the House, at least right now. They're trying to get some things done there. Representative Stepniak and Jordan you'll hear from them today coming up. We're going to show you perfect video, Lizzie, of how you clear out encampments.
Oh, good. I want to see that.
All it takes is a canister of tear gas.
Yes. I
And
love
you'll
it.
watch the protesters scatter
Mm-hmm.
like little rats.
That's right. As they're trying to hide their face so mommy and daddy don't see them.
Or anybody else, possible jobs.
Yeah.
But it's all those things. Donald Trump's talking about the RNC again and voting. I know it's difficult to imagine no irregularities, but he's trying to give people some positive hope coming up from that standpoint. So we've got a lot of things coming up today. First, I want to start with some of those things, cockroaches.
Yeah. They're for sure cockroaches.
Glenn says, let's start there. Cockroaches. We broadcast live out of the St. Louis area. I just want to show the SLU video because here's the thing. I think there were only 2 arrests. It was large, but it was peaceful. And you know what? If you're going to protest,
Kinda.
well, I didn't hear any.
Well, if you're saying death
Yeah, you're
to
right.
anyone, it's not peaceful.
It was verbally
not peaceful,
correct.
but not physically.
But they walked through campus, lots of people. And then they also made their way through. It was a beautiful night. I mean, one of the most beautiful nights you could imagine in the Midwest. I mean, and you see them walking through here. But the problem is, and Joe, is there sound?
Like the average age of 5 years old. Like
Listen to this again. For our listeners, from the sea to the river. Palestine will live forever. That isn't just a chant for Palestine.
That's a threat.
It's a calling
That's a
for an
threat.
annihilation
Yes.
of the Jewish culture.
Mhm.
And many of the people who are chanting that, whether they know or not,
Mhm.
they are. They're literally reckless with their words.
That's right.
And we're just trying to call it out. This is, we're not making stuff up. We're bringing attention to actual events that are happening.
Those words, a lot of the kids that are walking right there, if you hear those words and you don't understand the meaning, a lot of those college just thinks, oh, isn't that pretty? We're walking around and we're talking about a sea and a river. They don't know what it means. They have no idea what that means. I bet half those kids don't even know what it means. They don't know. And somebody's asking us, is this St. Louis U? Yes, it is. And she's like, you have to be kidding me. This is a college. Well, it's a college campus that's supposed to be Catholic, but they don't have any Christian principles going on there too. My daughter and son-in-law graduated from SLU in law school, and my daughter's graduation was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
Well, how so?
It was so liberal that if you are anybody that's not a progressive left, you are squirming in your seat. The things that they were saying were just so sissified, and talking about how all you brave people that made it through the C word, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to get banned on here, but because you lived through it and you guys wore your masks and you were really warriors, and they would talk about every progressive left term, and we were just squirming in our seats. It was
How long ago was that?
3 years ago. Or was it 3 years? Yeah, 3 years ago. So yeah, it was embarrassing.
Gosh. So, I mean, at least we didn't have the scenes, and I credit the state universities. Washington University didn't really allow, they arrested, they arrested 100 people.
Yeah,
to make
they
sure
did.
and then SLU last night, I think there was only 2 people arrested, 1 or 2 people.
And it was because apparently one from each side, the pro-Palestinians and then people that were Jewish, they clashed. So I think even the Jewish person was arrested.
Do you know what? You start to see a few more Jews coming out.
Yeah.
But when video is surfacing all over the country of Jews being beaten and not allowed in classrooms, you try to at least be there for your brothers and sisters. Robert says, I worry about a hot summer. Cities can be destroyed quickly.
Absolutely. It doesn't take much time.
Look at the aftermath of where these encampments are. There's vile stuff going on. All kinds of, these people are staying there. So that means they're basically living there. They're doing all kind. They're going to the bathroom there.
Yes.
It's just,
apparently it smells.
it's
so
no,
bad.
it's like, it's like we're saying, it's like swine.
It is like swine.
It's just living like pigs. And I don't get it.
They're peeing and defecating in cups in their tents. It's disgusting.
Some of those things, Dartmouth, approximately 100 arrests. But there's campuses, there's protests going on at campuses all across America. All across America, and tons. I was breaking down the list. There's 60 campuses, at least 60. All the way down the list. Holy moly. Harvard, Arizona State, New York, City College, Brown, Middlebury, Byrne, Cal Poly, New Mexico, Berkeley, UCLA, Northeastern, Northwestern, Columbia, Connecticut, Ohio State, Cornell, Penn, Emerson, Pittsburgh, Pfizer. There's a Pfizer college, by the way.
Is there really? Is it like
No, it's Pittsburgh College.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't know about that.
Princeton,
college.
Florida State. All the way down the list. It goes and it goes and it goes. Michigan, Yale. I don't see one at the University of Missouri, though.
No, I haven't heard really any other than the 2 very left progressive schools in St. Louis City are having big problems right now.
Yeah. So,
I'm not hearing that.
There is a way, by the way, to eliminate this. South Florida, the police at the campus at the University of South Florida, they're not messing around. FAFO in Florida. And you find out what's going to happen to you. I watched this video, and this is why you use tear gas. Tear gas is no joke. I've been near tear gas covering a story, and that stuff burns.
You can't see.
Yeah, and all that would take is to launch a couple cans of tear gas out in the middle of all those people who act like animals and don't act how they should
Yeah.
act in an unlawful manner, and it would be broken up. Just check out what South Florida did right here. This is police going in to take care of their campus. It's very simple. Walk in peaceful.
Yeah.
Carry your big stick.
Mm-hmm.
And for our listeners on the podcast, we're showing tear gas being dispensed in the midst of encampments. And
That's
guess what
awesome.
happens? Guess what? People scatter like little cockroaches.
They do.
And it's the end of playtime.
That's right. And look at them all running. If you're watching the video, people they're starting to get in their eyes and then they just take off running. And a lot of them will leave. Once it becomes uncomfortable for them, they will leave. We've made it too comfortable for them to act like these little
You
animals.
can't negotiate.
You can't negotiate with them. There's no negotiating. So if you are naive enough to think that you can go onto one of these college campuses and reason with them, they have such an animalistic way that they're dealing with it, and they get revved up. If any of you have been in a situation that you've been angry about anything, all of a sudden you can't come back from it, and you get madder and madder and madder. And that's what these people are doing. They're so angry. Half of them don't even know why they're angry, but they're caught up in the midst of it. So if you think that you can go in there and negotiate with one of these cockroaches, you can't. You can't. Just send in the tear gas.
Tear gas, water cannons, and arrests with outside camps. You make them pay money for their insubordination. Illegals get immediately deported. He says, let's send them to Venezuela. That coming from Robert on the chat line. Maybe the wall on our border could spray tear gas out to the Mexicans.
That would be fantastic. And why aren't we doing that? Why would that?
They're on bikes too. The cops on bikes.
The cops on bikes. Yep.
Chasing down people. That's what you do.
I think it's beautiful.
I mean, that's how you end it really fast.
Really
and then
fast.
people can, once again, this is all about allowing kids to go to class in a safe manner.
Mm-hmm. And why is that too
That's
much
all.
to ask?
It's
Really?
not.
I mean, you send your kid to college, or your college on their kid goes on their own, and you just want to learn.
Lisa says that she had a comment that was flagged as hate speech because she simply noted how people are living like swine but don't eat pork.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, if you're saying anything against what they're saying, they say it's hate speech. And you're going to notice it's going to rev up between now and August because of the primaries, and really amp up between August and November. What you say is going to be flagged a lot on certain platforms. Some they're not. But the one that we're on right now, they do anything to flag us. But I appreciate this platform because it's where we have a lot of discussion.
We also had, did we have other video from last night, by the way? Oh, the interesting thing is you continue to see this, and I guess it can switch from campus to campus. I mean, it just depends on who wants to be riled up, who wants to start trouble, who wants to cause issues and problems. But that was one example of how police are breaking it up. Also, UCLA, that's starting to get broken up now too.
Yeah.
Last night they were able to see what they did, and we'll show you when Joe shows you this video from UCLA. The encampments are building wall and getting wood. I mean, it's like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do you really think you're making an impact somehow? So police went in last night. We'll show you the video here, and and they broke through, and that's how you take care of things.
Sit at the front of the encampment.
It all starts with politicians. You stop it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
WashU did. South Florida did. And then you don't have the stuff. So it shows you that these professors, these leaders of schools, they want this.
They do. And this has to be planned. If you're seeing this video, you're seeing large, brand new pieces of plywood. College students just don't happen to walk with those in on campus. There is organized regimes coming in and bringing plywood and rocks, and now we're hearing bricks and all of that. And if you shut it down right away, they don't have time to bring that stuff in. But they have plenty of time to do all of this.
A woman I know, her daughter goes to school there.
At UCLA?
At UCLA.
What is she saying?
She was given some updates on Facebook and just saying that they were safe. It's a wild scene out there. And I was going to reach out to her, see if we could get her daughter to talk, but they're 2 hours behind us. So it's, it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that'd be hard for a college student, but maybe she can come on tomorrow and she can talk without maybe not necessarily having her camera
Well, she
on
said,
or call in.
Well, she thanked everybody who reached out on behalf of her daughter. She said that her daughter and her friends went to Newport last night.
Good.
To another friend's parents' house so that they could literally get away
That's
from this
great.
craziness that's going on at UCLA in the middle of la 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 land.
Yeah.
They have made all classes virtual.
Of course, for the rest of the year, right?
Yeah, for today. Well, for
Or
today
just for
and-
today.
for
Okay.
today and tomorrow.
Got it.
I mean, literally, these are students at UCLA, USC, Columbia, Michigan. It's a failure on the part of the universities, as she writes, and the governors, of course, of
Mhm.
these states for allowing it to happen. And once again, these are people who are paying top dollar to go to these colleges.
Yep.
These are super, super, super expensive schools, tough schools to get into as well. And yes, Robert, they have been infiltrated by China and others who get paid lots of money
That's right.
to come in and try to infiltrate and change America. It's not the short-term goal, it's the long-term goal of dividing the country, which has been happening,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
for years and years. And it's not Soros is definitely involved in this, but there's a lot of other groups too that are paying for it. And like Sally had said on there, good grief, it is Soros and all these left-wing people. What about the green? They're so, green, 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 but then they bring in plywood that comes from trees. I mean, you can see that they are just so hypocritical.
But once again, if you want to take care of these things, you can. And once again, Jewish students deserve a whole lot better.
Yes, they do.
All students deserve a whole
Mhm.
lot better, because this is just anarchy to have anarchy. And we still don't know who these students are, if they're all students, if they're other people who don't even go to school there,
Yeah.
and then trying to rile up other ones on top of it. From that standpoint, then you start to wonder, okay, well, how does this stop? They can pop up whenever they want.
Mhm.
But guess what? It's just like ants. You have to spray your house,
Yep.
and you continue to spray. And if they come back, you spray them.
Yeah, you got to keep spraying them.
And
You got-
eventually they get bored or they die off and they go somewhere else.
Well, and the thing that's going to be a problem is once college is out, which will be, in a couple weeks or so, and there'll be kids there on campus for the summer. These things are going to spill out into your community. They're going to spill out into the main streets in your town and at your malls and at your big town squares. So, keep your eyes open. These people are here. They're in cells all over the United States. A lot of them might even be illegal that they're saying now. So, be aware, be aware of your surroundings, because right now we seem pretty safe. It's like, oh, they're just on the college campuses, but you're going to watch, there's going to be another summer of love because the election's coming up this summer. They're going to try to impede people who are primarily conservative people that are campaigning. So be prepared. This is coming to a town near you.
Well, with the weather getting
Warm.
better too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we always see what happens when it comes to crime.
That's right.
But will this make a difference? How does this play into everything else that's going on?
It's distracting us from
with
everything
election
else.
and we're still not hearing from Democratic leaders against this.
Nope. Because they're for this. They're being quiet. Some of them might really don't approve of it, but they can't go against their base. This is the Democrat platform now, whether you like it or not. If you are just being a Democrat now because you love your union, you also are backing people who hate Jewish people. You're backing little college shits that are terrorizing not only Jewish people, that is their target for sure, but they're targeting anyone that doesn't agree with them. So this is what's going to go on, and it's going to build all summer long.
Again, the hope is these cities are still having problems financially and rebuilding their cities from the last protest.
That's right.
And businesses that were lost. They may actually stamp down these protests, but not holding my breath. Chris says Soros is a minimal player.
I agree this time. He is
They're
not
Middle
as big
Eastern
this time.
powers. They're
Yes.
the main financiers of this happening. And these ultra-liberal universities are taking money as well to either allow it or to slow roll any police action.
That's right.
I mean, it's simple. I mean, you could eliminate this in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Can
In
it tear
just an
gas?
hour. And when you look at who's at this time, it is still the Antifa type people that they're paying. Soros does have a part, but it is minimal. If you research this now, it is Middle Eastern billionaires that are funding it this time around. And you should be scared to death. And I've said it before, and people were like, wow, Lizzie, you're so mad. When Megan was here, that I really said it loudly, and you need to hear it. They hate you. People that are of this regime, that are anti-Jew, and that they're pro-Palestine right now, they hate Americans, they hate Christians, they hate you. So don't feel sorry for them. This is what this really is. They hate you. I can't say it enough.
The other situation is it takes a lot to bring Republicans and Democrats together. it takes a lot, and we don't know if that's ever going to happen. It would take even more to bring Israelis and Palestinians together.
Mhm.
It does, right?
Takes a
It's
lot.
like 100 times what it would take to bring a Republican and a Democrat together.
Mhm.
But there is one man, Lizzie, one
love
man,
it.
cancel
One
this
man.
culture,
I know.
who is able to bring the Jews and anti-Jews together.
Yeah, they agree on something.
His name is Joe Biden.
Good old Joe. Good old Joe.
Check out what happened at you can't make this up, at a rally where you had the anti-Semites, the pro-Palestinians, pro-Hamas,
Mhm.
pro-Hezbollah group on one side. You have Israelis or pro-Israel, pro-Jews on the other side, and a chant breaks out. They found one thing that they could come in agreement with, and that's Joe Biden. Just keep playing that, Joe. That's
I
crazy.
love it. This is beautiful.
I mean, soak
Beautiful.
this up.
And there's more patriots in this picture than there are the Palestinian freaks. But they both agree. I love it. FJB.
Gives you goosebumps.
It does. It does give you goosebumps. And it's great because it's now these things that are happening. The only good thing about this is it's showing the biggest percentage of people under the age of 35, 25, something there, that everyone hates Joe Biden. So I'm not saying that the leftists are going to vote for Donald Trump. They're just not going to vote for Joe Biden. So it's almost like when you don't vote for Joe Biden and then you've got the other kids voting for Trump, it's like it's a double whammy. This is just beautiful.
I mean, you can't make this crap up. For our listeners on the podcast, one side pro-Israel chanting F Joe Biden, the other side pro-Palestinians, and they're all chanting together. There is hope. We can find common ground.
That's right. I love it.
We can find peace in trying to take out the worst president, the dumbest president, the most inept president in the history of America.
That's right.
And there are people who want to vote for Joe Biden.
That's crazy.
And it's your prerogative. But you actually, we haven't had peace for thousands of years and we'll never agree with one another. Unless it's Joe Biden. He sucks. He's a pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know where he is. He's a mad sniffer of babies.
Yeah, he is a sniffer. Talk. He's a liar. But like Donna says, when you see this, this just warms the cockles of your heart.
The cockles.
It does. This is just so wonderful.
Can you say that word again?
Cockles. It warms the cockles of your heart.
Warms the cockles.
Yes. So when you see this, that everybody's saying FJB, it's a good day.
I want my cockle warmed as well.
Well, if you're having a bad day, you just play that video and you will be really happy about
I was
it.
looking to see if Joe was laughing through our glass.
Uh-huh. He's got a big old smile on his face. Just looking at Joe, this is warming the cockles of his heart too. Is it Joe?
Oh yeah.
From the chat line.
Goosebumps all over.
Oh.
Goosebumps and cockles at the same time. It's
Pro Joe needs to clip cockles.
Clip cockles.
We need that for the drop. Cockles. Jill says it's too bad none of it really matters. Shadow government running the works, of course.
Oh, that's so true. That is so true.
Lizzie said cockles.
Mm-hmm.
Lizzie said cockles.
FJB.
We
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is one of the best videos. This is what should be played all over America.
All over the
and
place.
that's what we do here. And that's why we have fun with this stuff. We find it. We go out. We're just trying to bring you. There is hope. Just when you don't think there's hope, there's a flat out evil idiot named Joe Biden.
Yeah.
who is out there doing what he's doing, and you know what he's doing
We know what he's doing.
or not doing,
Mhm.
who everybody disagrees with. Holy crap. People agree. Jews and Palestinians can live together.
Mhm.
And we're going to show it to you day after day.
Day after day. That one you need to earmark. Don't let that one go away, Joe. That might be something between now and election. We need to remind people that we can agree on something. You might hate Jewish people, but you also hate Joe Biden.
So there is hope.
There is hope.
So you're saying there's a chance
Mhm.
Jews and Palestinians can live together
Yeah.
and go after the man, because we all know what that is.
That's right.
It's just
Mhm.
oh my God.
Mhm. It just, I mean, it's such a good day now that you can see that. It's just so great. So our youth, and what the best part of that video for me, besides the chanting, is the patriot kids
Mhm.
that were all over there. That was like double the side of the hate kids taking the time to chant. It was wonderful.
I need to get to this. We'll continue to talk about this. We've been talking a lot. I mean, a lot of these protests all week long. As Lizzie started the show, we talked about this week. This is what's taken over the country. It is
Mhm.
sad that we have to deal with this. But okay, I was turning into an 18-year-old. Was that about cockles?
Yeah, that was about cockles.
Because I said I'd like to have my cockle warmed.
Yeah. Mhm. Everybody should have their cockle warmed. Uh-huh. They should. It's just the inner part of your heart. There's nothing bad about that.
I work with cardiologists, and I've never heard anything called a cockle regarding the heart or the anatomy of the heart.
Well, that's because they're
If I went
using-
in and said, Dr. Singh, are you going to be working and warming the cockle today?
I dare you.
He would look at me and say, Victor, what are you talking about? What is messed up with your mind today, Victor?
Uh-huh. Well, you should go and tell him that.
He would be like, get out of my surgery room right
Mhm.
now until you get your mind right.
That's right. Stop talking about your cockles.
We're having fun here. This is cancelthisshow.com. Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. So grateful. We've had so many people coming into the show. Over 300 people watching live each day now. It's just great. And obviously, like 10 times the amount watch us at some point during the day, taped and live. It's because of you guys. We are grateful for you guys coming in and watching us and giving us ideas and telling us about things going on. This was a story that we were going to show today, and I'll get to it. Gosh, I'll get to it. I need to take a picture of your comment because this is what's happening. But I wanted to show something before we get to this. Congress is trying to act on the rioting, trying to act on what these people are doing. Elise Stepanak had a great press conference yesterday. She's been rumored to be in the running to be Donald Trump's vice president as well. One of the candidates who is out there. Joe, I don't know if you can find her. I don't know if I really, she is okay. I didn't know that's like finding a needle in a haystack. So you're pretty damn good at this. So here's Elise talking about what's going on and trying to call out all of this illegal activity and hateful activity that's happening across college campuses.
Warning. The world is watching as the leadership of our so-called elite colleges and universities continue to fail to condemn anti-Semitism and protect Jewish students on campus. Just look at the abject failure of Columbia's president to enforce their own code of conduct that they gave lip service to during the recent education and workforce hearing. Last night, the pro-Hamas anti-Semitic mob took over an academic building. The university leadership has lost complete control. It is a disgrace, and it is untenable, and we as House Republicans will hold them to account.
We desperately need, the country needs, clear moral authority. We need the President of the United States to speak to the issue and say, this is wrong. What's happening on college campuses right now is wrong. It is un-American. It is not who we are. The President seems unable or unwilling to do that. The first responsibility of an administrator on a university campus is the safety and security of their students. If one fails in that obligation, they have failed entirely. Columbia is out of control. In the last several hours, overnight, I think they overtook a campus building. They're occupying a building now. They're unable to operate the university at a time when the students are preparing for their final exams. It's unfair, it's unright, it's unsafe, and it must stop.
Yeah, it must stop. And now it goes a step further. Jim Jordan, breaks it down as well. Because we talked about this yesterday, and Lizzie brought this up when it comes to these student visas. Why should they still be allowed to be here under student visas if this is what they are doing? Here's Jim Jordan breaking down the situation as well, a little bit more too. Fascinating stuff. And it's simple.
The House Judiciary Committee sent 2 letters, one to Secretary Blinken, one to Secretary Mayorkas, asking 3 fundamental questions. Questions we as Republicans in the Congress want to know, and maybe more importantly, questions I think the American people want to have the answers to. First, how many students on a visa have engaged in the radical activity we've seen now day after day on college campuses? How many have engaged in this activity, endorsing or espousing terrorist activity on a college campus? Question 2, if you know that number, have you, the State Department, have you asked the State Department to revoke the visas, to revoke their visas? And then third, and maybe most importantly to Secretary Mayorkas, if you've done that, if you know that answer, have you started removal procedures? Those are the questions that are in front of the Judiciary Committee that we want the answers to. Remember, on September 30th, 2021, Secretary Mayorkas issued his guidelines for immigration enforcement. And he said in there that national security threats are a reason, of course, to remove people from this country. So the fundamental question, the overriding question is real simple. Are individuals advocating for the destruction of our dearest and closest ally, the State of Israel, and engaged in this anti-Semitic behavior, is that a national security threat? We think it is, and we think the American people deserve the answers to those 3 fundamental questions.
All right, Jim Jordan, always outstanding, always trying to be responsible, whatever it is, with money, with life, with the rules, with laws. There you go. Congress trying to do something. Will it matter? Do you find, as I know there are chat line calling these cockroaches, it's going to be very difficult. We try to talk about practical things, but you also have to show signs of solidarity and call this out.
Yeah, you absolutely.
That's why you need Republicans and Democrats and independents all calling this out, all. Just like the 2 groups together
calling out Joey,
the Palestinians, forgetting why they're there because they hate Joe Biden so much, which is interesting. So, we'll see what happens in Congress. You hope something can happen, but we're just tired of seeing it all go down over and over and over again. But there is hope. A couple days ago, we couldn't get to it yesterday, and we should have. Heroes in North Carolina rescued and saved a flag. See, here's the thing. There is hope. And Lizzie talks about the hope with some of these college students. I mean, I brought it up last week, Monday. Thank God. I know it's a Christian university, but at least Liberty was having a different kind of protest.
They sure were.
They were out. They had a protest.
I love that.
Which was fantastic, setting an example for all campuses. You're not going to get that at a public institution.
No,
just being realistic. But at least they started it. Well, check out the video, and I'm sure you've seen these kids. This has gone viral, saving the American flag. Once again, these college professors, college administrators allowing these hateful groups to tear down our flag. The red, white, and blue that this country was established on, but students saving the day. Jewish fraternity students at the University of North Carolina protecting the flag.
Beautiful.
Jewish students, once again, Jewish students at the University of North Carolina protecting the red, white, and blue of the United States of America.
That's right.
Okay. Look at that. That gives me chills to be able to stand up in the midst of all of that hate. Once again, if the Palestinians or anybody else put down weapons, put down hate, there's not going to be any Israelis doing that because we don't have that in this country. Before you can have anything, you have to stop the violence. You have to stop unlawful behavior. And anybody with half a brain and half a desire to really have a positive outcome knows that. It's simple. It's so easy. Peace can be easy, but you quickly find out who people are. People show you who they are. They can tell you one thing, but you see by their actions who they are. Are they going to lie to you? Are they going to be honest? Are they going to stick to their word or not? And man, is it interesting and fun to see that. Well, one of the kids that led that display of protecting the American flag is also going viral. And he talked yesterday with Fox News. Here he is talking about that whole situation and what it was like to be there.
I like
I
his American
love
flag.
that side of America. It's like we all just kind of connected our brains and stood there protecting one thing, and we all were like, we all were looking at every direction. If stuff was flying in, we would say heads up. We would cover each other. We would look out for other people. We would swap. We had like for an hour, and our hands did hurt. Our arms did hurt. It was like an arm day for me that day. It was no gym happened that day afterwards. It was exhausting. You know, I remember we were all standing in there, and I think I made a joke. I was like, oh, I don't know if it's a joke, but I was like, I'd die for this flag. And everybody was like, yeah, if they get any closer, we're gonna start throwing hands. Like we're not going anywhere. I don't care. They're gonna have to tear me off this flag like by my dead body, you know, stuff like that. And that was, you know, I'm smiling right now after such an insane day, but it's because it genuinely was hopeful. It was enjoyable to be in such an environment while doing what we think is right. People really took a lot of damage to protect that flag. And again, we were there for a really long time, you know, all things considered. But it makes me feel very scared for the future of this country. It's good to see people still willing to put their bodies on the line, their mind and soul on the line to protect this flag. There are still patriots in this country that actually want to fight and would, you know, sacrifice themselves for this flag, this country. And it's been missing a lot of the time, especially during this last administration. Has just been non-existent pretty much. That's why the photo is getting so many clicks and getting seen everywhere on every news site, because people want to see that. People want to see people not bending. Don't bend a knee to these people. They want you gone. They want to take over. They want to just destroy like what this country stands for, bring their own twisted ideology into every orifice of this country, and don't let them do that. Don't let them do that. So take a stand. Be a man. Take a stand.
I love what he just said.
Woo!
Wow.
Chills down the spine.
That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Be a man and stand. And he's saying the very thing that we've been saying. These people are trying to tear down everything about being America. And we talked, I don't know, months ago about what is a patriot. That is a patriot right there. And a patriot only means somebody willing to sacrifice for America. You don't necessarily have to be in the military. And maybe right now we don't advocate your kid going in the military. We literally asked Eric Greitens this the other day. Would you put your boys in the military? And he said that was a hard question.
He did. That
shocked me because he's so pro the military. But right now, you might need to be a patriot a different way. And God bless you if you are in the military. We do support you. That's not what we're saying. But maybe your kids need to be a patriot like this. Maybe that's what you need to do. Call yourself a patriot. They took basically physical harm yesterday to prove a point to save that flag and to
on Monday. Yeah, a couple days ago.
Monday.
Yeah,
That's right.
I couldn't
Monday.
get to it yesterday, but his interview was yesterday. That kid has gone viral.
I love
it. A college student, no different than any other college students, except for the fact that he appreciates what this country is. He appreciates his freedom. He was clearly raised well. He didn't have hate in his heart.
No.
He didn't rip anybody else.
No.
He spoke truth.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about being abused and had all kinds of projectiles incoming fire
Yes.
only because they were trying to protect our country's flag on American soil.
Yes. American soil.
It's very simple to break this down again without getting caught up in all that. That's the whole idea of the uniparty, the
Mhm.
deep state that Donald Trump talks about, is getting your mind. It's easy to get along. We can get along,
We can
but
get
you have
along.
to call out bad.
Yes.
And if bad attacks, you have to stand up and protect as best to
Mhm.
your ability. This is a college kid
Yeah.
just out trying to do what he could, found a purpose to protect a flag with his friends, and they succeeded.
I love it. I love that so much. I hope this young
And he
man.
can speak so eloquently
Yeah.
about it. Once again, that student at the University of North Carolina going
Mhm.
viral for just letting people know what they did, why they did it, and calling out hate.
Yes, we need more like him, as Annette is saying. He's a tenacious patriot and he's going to go far. If he takes this moment, this was a pinnacle moment in his life and the people around him that he needs to stand up. He needs to be in some leadership role in the future.
I just like I said, I say a lot, but chills. Listen to I could listen to that kid talk.
Me too. Over and over.
Could you
and
imagine
over.
how proud you are
Oh,
if you're his parents?
Yes.
Hearing him do that.
Yes, I would be so proud. His mama and his daddy and his grandma and his grandpa and his brothers and his sisters and his aunts and his uncles should be so proud of that young man.
Well, I'm proud of him.
Yep. Projo's even proud of him. We're all proud of him.
It's just fascinating to watch this. And then that's the example for college students. It's not the example where people are yelling and screaming and death to the Jews. I mean, death to America.
That's right.
This isn't even controversial. What we're showing and saying and what we do every day on Cancel This, it's not controversial.
That's right.
You guys from all over the St. Louis metropolitan area, from Missouri, from across the country and the world, it's not controversial what we do or say. People may try to push it that way, but there's a reason why you guys all come here. Now, we've encouraged people who may not be like-minded, but they don't come here. They don't want to come and listen or participate, and that's their prerogative. But that's what happens with the podcast. But it's also why podcast and marketing and companies are starting to wake up and realize that podcast is where they should be to advertise, because there's passionate people there, because they go there. It's not like TV or radio. That's not.
Well, and you don't have to take a segment. You don't have to be like, okay, you can come on our show now and you either have 11 minutes or 8 minutes. If you have something to say that is very profound, you can have a lot of minutes. And so that's where podcasting is different, is we can show these things and tell people and give people a voice for as long as their voice is needed.
We wanted to end some of that stuff. And obviously we want your comments and your questions if you want to talk about it. It is what's going on in the country, but there's a whole lot more going on, as we've continued to talk about, with crime and the border and inflation, and these things are still happening. And there are people and other patriots and people trying to stand up for what's right, moral, good, and patriotic, who are being attacked. And that's what we covered. We continue to cover that and continue to do those stories. Case in point, this is fascinating. And before we get to it, I want to start with Donald Trump, because he continues to deal with all the craziness that he's dealing with in New York. But yesterday, he came out and he continues to double down on the RNC and their ability to stop what could happen in 2024, what he says happened in 2020. Now, this isn't some long soundbite, but here's Donald talking yesterday about trust in the RNC and how they're going to do what they need to do. And he did this in Michigan yesterday.
To protect the vote, and I'm pleased to, this is the first time I've announced this, actually, announce that our campaign is going to be leading a historic effort in conjunction with the RNC, that's Republican National Committee, the state parties, and a team of the most highly qualified lawyers and other professionals in the country, to ensure that what happened in 2020 will never happen again. We're not going to allow it to happen again.
Do you believe it?
I do. I do believe it, because one of the things that Donald Trump did not see coming in the last election, he thought he was going to win in such a landslide. And he did. He did. But everyone underestimated their ability to cheat. I think a lot of us understood about the mail-in and all of the ballots coming in the middle of the night. but we did nothing to combat that. We know what we're up against this time. And now with Laura Trump involved in the RNC, I really see a lot of hope. And there's still going to be cheating. We know that, but maybe there can be so many more eyes to stop it this time.
Well, I certainly hope so, but I'm glad that he is talking about it and that there seems to be a plan, because we always know you got to be talking about things. You got to recognize issues, recognize areas of interest, and then attack those before something can happen. And nobody really saw the significance of that.
No, we didn't, because the RNC for quite a while has not been on the up and up. And so the best thing, maybe possibly the best thing Donald Trump is doing in his pre-campaigning, so to speak, is dealing with the RNC, dealing with their corruption, and dealing with putting different people on there that's going to fight election fraud this time.
Yeah, and it's not just the RNC of the past under Ron McDaniel.
Right.
We're talking about the deep state, and the deep state is real, and we're not lunatics. We're speaking truth, and Donald Trump has shown those sorts of situations that are going on.
Yeah.
And every day, as we say, keep the scorecard, something else. You've already seen what happened with the pandemic. Now you're seeing what happened with the cupcake and the effects, and people are asking for, Dr. Fauci to be, brought up on charges and everything for pushing something, and all kinds of studies are showing now that there's bad side effects and after effects from cupcakes. I mean, it's once again, it always happens a year, 2 years later.
That's right.
Where it came from, where the labs were from. But by then, we're off to something else.
That's right.
Or the mainstream media is off to something else. We're not. We're going to continue to cover what we need to cover. But then this also came out yesterday. And my God, Mike Pompeo, you want to talk about somebody, Rhino, who people called out from the get-go.
Yes.
I mean, he is heavily involved in the situation. And thank God for O'Keefe Media. They literally dropped another bombshell. They have footage, actual footage, that supports reports that they had from earlier this year, and last year, where investigative journalists like Michael Schellenberger, Matt Taibbi, who's been on, Alex Gutentag, that revealed how American intelligence communities, three-letter communities, illegally spied on Donald Trump and his presidential campaign in 2016. Also, illegally acquired information and intelligence that was later used to justify the Federal Bureau of Investigation's official probe, the Crossfire Hurricane, which in turn led to Special Counsel Robert Mueller's false investigation, which turned up nothing and ultimately did not find any sort of Russia conclusion. And then add into the fact that you also have that information, we're talking about intelligence information, was kept away from Donald Trump while he was president and after. That involved him. Once again, there's now evidence, video evidence. Of course, mainstream media won't show you that. Liberal news talk show hosts, newspaper writers, podcast, radio station, they're not going to tell you about it. They're not going to show you, but we're going to bring it up. This is all the deep state. Again, it's like just when you think that, oh, yeah, well, they're going after Donald Trump now. It was from day one.
Day one. Yeah.
And it's not going to stop as long as Donald Trump is around in the political atmosphere.
That's right.
But it continues to happen. And we're getting more and more evidence of all of it. So once again, by us talking about it in a civilized manner, you're not a conspiracy theorist. There's nothing wrong with you. Just because you're not operating as people were in the 80s and 90s, even 2000s anymore, does not mean anything is wrong with you or us, especially when we're talking about the facts first.
People had their head in the sand during that period of time. They didn't understand the spying. It literally, from 2015 on, people's eyes were wide open to what was going on. We knew that he was getting spied on. So many people did, but people made you think you really don't know. You're really kind of crazy. You just wear a tinfoil hat, and now it's all coming out.
It is interesting, isn't it? How people will do that to you.
Yeah.
And they'll make you feel as if something's wrong with you if you bring, oh, you're one of those people.
You're just one of those people. And you're right. There was some things that people really were wearing a foil hat on. I mean, there were some people going down the rabbit hole and making up so much stuff because people were making stuff up. But the spying wasn't one of them.
Well, I get angry but I knew that it was happening once Donald started. Once they
Yes.
started the fake Russia collusion against Donald Trump, okay, this is a battle and it's never going to stop.
Mhm.
America is a big prize. Taking down America
The
is a
biggest.
huge prize to
Mhm.
take down. And Donald Trump is leading that patriotic charge. So we got to create narratives that don't really exist. We got to create charges. We got to get him into court with no
Mhm.
evidence and convict him where we have the power to convict somebody without evidence. And if you don't think that can happen, it can.
That's right. And
It is happening.
That is. And when he's tied up in court, he can't go have these rallies. He can't go get out. But yesterday he's off for a day and there he is. He is out talking to the people. They hate it. And so now they're going to see, okay, dang it, we can't even let him have a day off. He's not back at, down in Florida in Palm Beach, just sitting around drinking a latte. He is back out talking to the people. So they're going to want to continue to keep shutting him down, but he's still campaigning. I mean, you've got that young man that's out on a college campus. He's now got other people that have a voice for him too. So they're not going to win this battle. They're not going to win it.
By the way, we showed you the story with the North Carolina group, the Jewish Americans protecting our flag
Mhm.
from people who are, in the kindest way I can possibly say it, acting like animals,
Mhm.
unlawfully trying to hurt people, trying to act in one of the worst unlawful ways you possibly can because they felt like it.
Right.
And these kids stood up and did what they could. Well, and we appreciate you jumping in on our People's platform with information. We just had somebody who chimed in from the chat line to say that they have I'm looking for it right now, that there is a
GoFundMe.
A GoFundMe. The American.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you read that?
I can.
Leslie?
Joe Lynette says the GoFundMe for the University of North Carolina students who protected the American flag is almost at $300,000.
Oh my God! I get the chills again.
That is
The goosebumps.
so great. It really is. That is just beautiful.
Your acts of valor, even when you're not trying to be heroic, can be seen as heroic.
That's right.
Especially if they played that kid's video interview, which we just did.
Yes.
Man, there is hope.
There is hope. When you see that, there is big hope.
$300,000 for those kids that stood there.
I love it. And you know what? I hope that they don't use that money as the average college student does, is in the line at Starbucks. I hope they use it for more good things like that, for more goodness.
Hey, I don't care. After what they did, I hope they have the best Kager ever.
Well, I do hope they have a
I'm
Kager.
sorry.
I hope a Kager does happen for
They
them.
can
are
get some
college
massages, take care of their shoulders, their arms, their hands.
Yeah, they might need the massages. Good
after
point.
everything that they did.
And then go do good things with it. Just
I don't
stay out
care
of
if
the
they go.
Starbucks
I
line.
don't care if they go party Projo style. You just go do your thing. Because if you have a big party, you call it Projo style.
That's right. That's right. And we got somebody triggered.
I love it.
I love it. And I'm going to read it out, you guys. On YouTube, we have Mark Mann says this show should be canceled. It's bad.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But I'm glad you're here, Mark. So you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, we're living rent free.
Yeah, I hope the smart man comes on the show and tells us why the show should be canceled.
That's right. But once again, congrats to those heroic Jewish American students at the University of North Carolina who showed that you don't have to do a lot to make a difference.
That's right.
It's all right to politely and respectfully ruffle some feathers as long as you are not breaking the law.
Yeah.
The difference with what they did is they did not attack anybody. They were attacked.
That's right.
As they tried to take care of the stars and stripes,
Mm-hmm.
which is what our country is represented by, that flag. Even though you have so many sources and people who are trying to tear this country apart with division and Republicans versus Democrats and Democrats versus Republicans and cultures against cultures, it doesn't take much to be that shining light in the midst of darkness. And that's exactly what those kids are.
Yes.
Praise God.
Beacon.
$300,000 has been donated to their GoFundMe account.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
I do. That is really great.
And you said it best, Lizzie. Cancel this, baby.
Yeah, cancel this, baby.
This is cancelthisshow.com. Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website. Cancelthisshow.com. Of course, news headlines, water cooler talk, political interviews from all over the country. political talk, as you know, cancel culture, education, and stories. And of course, our Free for All Fridays, where we get into paranormal, conspiracy theory Fridays, and comedy Fridays. Tomorrow, Kelly Mano from The Kelly Mano Show will be joining us, and Eric Johnson from Platinum Rock Legends, our comedian and our musician, who join us on Fridays, which is a blast as well.
It is.
By the way, you can like, subscribe, share our show, jump in on all the platforms. You know where we're live. You can catch us on X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Cloud Hub as well, and of course, all your usual listening platforms as well, like Spotify, Apple, and Google. Also, special thanks to our show advertisers, which we are thankful for. And of course, that's Complete Auto Body Care. Complete Auto Body Care in the St. Louis metropolitan area. There's no better place to go when you need your vehicle fixed from A to Z. You can go to our website, cancelthisshow.com, click on partners. We have links to the websites from partners and sponsors that we focus on. 314-731-7999, 314-731-7999. And be sure to tell them that you're from Cancel This so that they know and they take care of you as best as they can. And of course, it helps us when you do that as well. Also, WeQuip USA. Once again, WeQuip USA, Paige Measley and crew. You literally go to their website and you can rent items that other people have posted in your area. And you can also sell your own items, put your own items up to be rented. They also do rooms, they do businesses, just a very cool concept, and we appreciate their support. And of course, Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley. Winty's and Winty's Roadhouse coming the second week of May. When it comes to some of the best food you're going to find, service, good times, including a big, nice outdoor patio and entertainment all weekend long. It is Winty's, the original food shack and saloon in the Chesterfield Valley. We are grateful for all of the support that we get here. Once again, I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks. Pro Joe in the house, running the boards, making us look and sound as good as we possibly can. And of course, we appreciate it when you guys jump into the show as well. Okay, another issue that we talked about, I don't know, a few weeks ago that we're trying to bring attention to now. Do you guys remember this? Do you remember the video we showed you? And we'll show you this video of 5 girls in high school. This was middle school. These middle school girls refused to compete in throwing events in track and field. Remember this because they were forced to compete with a boy who said he was a girl. This, of course, in West Virginia, not New York, not LA, not Illinois, not Minnesota, not Massachusetts. This happened in West Virginia. Well, guess what happened to those 5 girls? Remember this? Lizzie, they walked up.
I remember it.
And they said, no,
so
you know what? We're going to show solidarity.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to respecting girls?
Yeah.
What happened to the femininity of girls and women, young women being who they are, respecting young women?
Well, and I liked that they didn't just not show up. They came up. And for anybody that isn't seeing the video, they're holding the shot put up. And then they act like they're going to throw, and then they don't, and then they just walk off one by one by one. How humiliating is that for the boy acting like he's a girl?
Well, guess what happened to these 5 girls? They have now been banned from all future competition.
Are you kidding me?
They got banned.
Wow.
You want to talk about anybody that needs a quote GoFundMe account to have legal bills paid for to go after any organization that should be appealed to. Now, it's not going to help them in their local competitions,
right?
But somehow, some way, somebody thought, and we can continue to show that, Joe, or come back to us, thought that was a good idea to ban these 5 girls, telling them, you know what, stop sticking up for yourself. You're going to compete with boys, whether you like it or not, or you're not going to compete.
So that leads me to believe that whatever board decided that has been infiltrated by leftist feminists. And what's interesting to me is, why in the world, if you're a female, do you hate women so much? I don't understand it, other than we were talking about the other day that there's self-loathing Jewish people. There's also women that nobody talks about this very much. Most of these women, they hate themselves. They really do. They have daddy issues. They have mommy issues. And so for whatever reason, they don't like themselves. They don't. A lot of people think, oh, they do, and they're emboldened. There is a self-hate there. And I guarantee you, and this is just a guess, this is just my opinion, but if we go and we dig down, and I'm going to do that here, is that there's a bunch of women are soy boy men on this board that infiltrated this West Virginia area, because now they don't like themselves very much. Because why is it that they fought for rights for women in the 60s, their ancestors, so to speak, a lot of them aren't even alive anymore, and burned their bras for women to have rights? Now you want to take these rights away from women so that they stick up for themselves, and they now can't compete anymore because a guy that obviously has a mental illness, or I'm going to say something even bigger, and I've said this before, that young man needs to be pitied because somebody failed him. Somebody failed that boy that now acts like he wants to be a girl, and now everyone has failed there. Nothing is right there. It's all turned upside down. That's terrible. And those girls should not back down. And they're probably being told to apologize to this boy, or otherwise they can't play. And that is ridiculous. So there's something way bigger at play here, and it's some feminist white liberal that is having a problem with here.
Well, it's interesting because the West Virginia Attorney General, Patrick Morrissey, has filed a suit in support of these 5 middle school girls who were banned for the upcoming track event because they were literally forfeiting, as we showed you the video, a chance in the shot put competition. Okay, at least West Virginia, like I said, this isn't New York, where all the illegal activity that is going on to go after Donald Trump with zero evidence and treat him as if nobody else has been treated in the history of our country, much less a former president who led over one of the more prosperous 4-year terms that this country has ever seen. Think about that. Now, this is West Virginia.
Yeah. Like you said, this
West Virginia
like Chicago,
is
Illinois.
Yeah. The closest West Virginia gets to being a Democrat state are Democrats from the 50s, 60s, 70s,
That's
and 80s
right.
who are now Republicans. Union, coal miners, hardworking people.
Yeah,
Anything but far left progressives.
that's right.
He says, quote, "I will do everything in my power to defend these brave young girls."
Amen.
This is just wrong. We must stand for what is right and oppose these radical trans policies. That again coming from West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrissey.
Well, good for Patrick. And you know what's interesting about this is coming everywhere. This is not just going to be in West Virginia. It's going to be in Missouri. It's going to be in Kansas. It's going to be somewhere, because this is sneaking up on all of us. So you need to have these conversations with your kids. And I have it often. My daughter's a very good track runner, and it's not happened at track yet here in Missouri, but it happened to her at volleyball already. And you have to, this could happen to you. And if you get up at the starting line and there's a boy next to you, what are you going to do about it?
Well, this person, the boy that identifies as a girl is just 13 years old, and already being given the power that they are being given, told that people who don't agree with you are mean and nasty and hateful. They don't accept you. That's how this is being presented.
Of course it is.
That's how it's being messaged. It's how it's being packaged to present for media. Well, Becky Pepper Jackson has been in a legal battle in West Virginia over a state law that bans males from competing in female sports. They have a law, but the Fourth Circuit, once again, this is what can happen, ruled in favor of Becky Pepper Jackson, the boy that wants to be a girl, and allowed they to compete in the female category where the 5 girls refused to take part.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is where it ends up as our judges.
Now, Becky Pepper Johnson has begun to take puberty blockers.
Wait a minute. The judge?
No, Becky Pepper Johnson.
Okay, so that's the kid.
No, the kid, the 13-year-old boy that wants to be a girl.
Got it.
Has begun to take puberty blockers.
I think Pepper Jack threw me off.
Oh, Pepper Jack.
I think that
Pepper Jackson.
Pepper Jackson.
Puberty blockers and estrogen hormone therapy. And began to identify as a girl in 3rd grade.
That is a parent fail. That's nobody in 3rd grade.
The parents said that their son didn't identify from an early age as being a boy. So they wanted to allow their child to do what they wanted to do.
That is, probably their son was sitting at preschool and was playing at the dramatic play area and probably doing dishes, as a lot of boys do. And all of a sudden, somebody who they're probably gay themselves or something and said, "Oh, little Becky Pepperjack, oh, you like the kitchen set? You must be a girl."
Well, this whole story, it happened last week with no warning or reprimand or anything. The school, the school principal informed the girls and the parents that they would not be allowed to compete in the upcoming track and field
That's
championship
awful.
meet.
That's a tragedy all the way around. This boy is now so messed up. People failed this boy too. And we can't say that enough. These kids are being failed. If this happened in 3rd grade. And then these girls that want to compete, they're being failed. Where is the adults in the room here? Where are they? No one in here wins. That boy doesn't win. That's now Becky Pepperjack. I mean, pick a better name too, dude. If you're going to change your name, pick something else, not that. And then you also have these girls that are being failed. Everyone is failing the children. Parents, stand up. Stop failing our kids. That is just horrible. Everyone's failed in this. Everyone. Not one kid is better off because of this.
And here's the other part of it. So the girls got suspended. Now, the Attorney General claims, and this is what's important for everybody to think about, and this is why we promote David Gregory and the St. Louis Injury Council, because David is, not only is he an amazing personal injury attorney who promotes this show and that sponsors this show, David Gregory, by the way, you can find him at gregoryformissouri.com, gregoryformissouri.com. You'll find his phone number there too. He will take care of every issue. Why do I know this? Because I used him when I was in a car accident. I was hit twice and I literally shopped around. I came to Dave and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But when you call Dave or look up Dave, if you've been hit or had a car accident, let him know that you're calling from Cancel This or heard about him and appreciate him doing that. And he'll also reduce the fees. And then it helps us from that standpoint when it comes to advertising with us. But Dave is also a constitutional attorney. He has helped at least 7 people get their jobs offered back to them because they refused to take the cupcake. And these are the types of cases. If you're dealing with something like this, give Dave a call and tell him that you called him and heard about him from Cancel This. Now, this Attorney General is claiming that this lawsuit is that the students engaged in constitutionally protected speech, because there are a lot of businesses and organizations that will try to stop your constitutionally protected speech and expression when they stepped out of the shot put circle. He said that the banned girls from future meets is a massive issue and it stops their rights. He says everything that they did was legal. He also says, quote, they engaged in actions that would chill a person of ordinary firmness from continuing to engage in the Constitution protected activity of speech and expression in a protest of a court decision and the ongoing unfairness of permitting biological males to compete in women's sporting events. So those girls continue to fight with at least that Attorney General doing what he can. And you need people in state elected positions. This is why elections are so important.
They are so important
when it comes to the state of Missouri, state of California, Texas, Illinois, you name it, because you already see what's happening in New York with the Attorney General and what Letitia was doing there. You saw what prosecutors can do if they just don't like somebody.
Yeah.
When you use this election lawfare, that stuff is happening. So prayers on this National Day of Prayer for those 5 girls who are dealing with that and standing in solidarity.
That's right.
And they didn't break any laws and they're not being vicious to anybody or anything from that standpoint. That's what can happen.
Yeah.
Paul says, remember, Title IX was created specifically for this, equal representation of sport on both sides. Unfortunately, that's why Lindenwood had to get, they had to give up Lindenwood University in the St. Louis metropolitan area in St. Charles County.
That's right. They had to get rid of 10 of their sports programs at their school because they couldn't field a full team for the opposite gender. It's so stupid. He's saying they killed scholarships for people over Title IX rules.
Correct. And then you can't have it both ways.
That's right. And that's what this is. that it was meant to protect girls, but then now they're taking sports away. They took scholarships away, and now they're hurting girls again. None of this is protecting females. I don't understand why people don't see this. And well, they do. The conservatives do see this, but the left that was so into female rights, they're the ones absolutely hurting females. And it's because there's a mental illness there. I say this all the time. They don't think rationally. They're worried about their gender and their hormones and their lattes and their whatever, and they're hurting girls very much so. But they're hurting their boys. I don't want this to go away either.
I'm glad you bring up that point.
I mean,
and
a
you
lot
do
of
very
people
good job at
forget that. I mean, don't get me wrong. If that boy was against my girl, I would be livid. But people are failing these kids too. They're failing these boys that are not good enough. They're not good enough to compete with boys. So they tell them that they're a girl instead of saying, you know what, little Becky Pepperjack, you are still a boy, but you might be creative. It's okay for a boy to be a chef and still be a heterosexual. It's okay that you might be more artistic and you could be the next whoever the artist is. And you could be great at that. You could create the next Mona Lisa, but you don't have to be gay and you don't have to be somebody else to do it. Like, I mean, out of my girls, I have 5 kids. My most artistic, I've got a lot of artistic kids in my family, is my son. He works at Spectrum, but he's a chef. He does great things, but he's still not gay. He is married. Tell your kid to be who they are without having to change their gender. Yeah, we're failing our kids in that. You're trying to predispose an artistic child or somebody that wants to play and I'm telling you, this is going down to preschool now. They want to play in the kitchen set. Oh, my son must be gay now. No, they're not. And that started to creep up when I owned the preschool. I had a dad come up to me and say, my son so-and-so likes to do the dishes instead of play with Tonka trunks. I'm afraid he's gay. I said, stop it right there.
At what age?
The kid was 4.
Oh my
and
God.
I said, you're right. Most boys go over and play with the Tonka trunks, but just because your kid is over in the kitchen set, he might make the best husband ever. And when he grows up, his wife's going to appreciate that he knows how to do the dishes. He's not gay. Tell your kid nothing. Don't talk about it. He's not gay.
I'm sorry. When I was a kid, I played with any toy available. I played with my cousin's Barbie dolls because it was the only thing to play with when I was over at their house.
That's exactly right. My husband apparently played with Barbie dolls too, and I can rest you assured he's not gay. So, I mean, it's like, let your kid play with whatever they want to be, but tell them God made them with the anatomy below their pants that they were intended to have. Doesn't matter what they do. And that's what we're not telling our kids. We are wanting our boys to be these badass sport athletes. I do too. I want my kids to be great at sports, but I also want them to be good at orchestra and art and create an art project, do theater.
Masculinity is a major, major issue for young men.
It is.
And they need to it's all right to be masculine.
It is all right. You should be masculine
to men.
That's
over
right.
the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm. It's sad. And that's what's happening.
But you see masculine men having super popularity in podcasts as well. You need
Love it.
Men are men, women are women.
That's right.
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
It's true. It's genetic. I mean, it's true. That is so true.
Once again, life could be so simple. In so many cases, life is black and white. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have factors in people who try to divide and evilness that wants to have confusion and chaos. That's why if you believe there's good, you have to believe that there's bad. If you believe in a creator, you have to believe in the devil. These are the things that happen.
Right.
A connects to B, B connects to C. This universe, as we talk about, science shows that all science goes to more of a intelligent design rather than boop, out of nowhere.
That's
Big
right.
bang. Oh, science is not on that side. So when it connects, then it connects to this, and then it connects to this. You have a foundation, just like when you learn math or mathematics. That's why you start in first and second grade. You learn principles to build up because one leads to the next, to the next, to the next. But if you take out a whole section, you're not going to understand what comes after that.
Well said.
Everything is so damn simple. We complicate things. Oh, well, our feelings, and we got to worry about, but that's not really, I know what's right, but you know, we just got to, let's not talk about religion. Let's not talk about politics. No, let's not say what's truthful because we're worried. And, you know, we we're worried about money and we're worried about this and that. No, it's about being truthful.
That's
You
right.
can't have everything in life without being truthful first. My
Mhm.
God, we talk about this all the time.
All the time.
And then now we've seen it happen when it comes to the transgender situation.
That's
as
right.
well.
And Skip reminds us on the chat line, Rush used to call it the wussification of America.
Well, of course.
Yeah, just have to
And
bring
it
that
continues over and over and over
And
again.
George Carlin used to call it the pussification of America.
That's
Hey, buddy,
right.
I love your comments, Joe. but
Sorry, you want the
you-
camera. I
That's
know.
like the third time today. I love you and I want to see you because
He just loves you
you're
so
worth
much, Joe.
you're worth seeing, and we want to see you because
Mhm.
you're the man.
He's the man. But the man behind the curtain is all. Didn't you not watch Wizard of Oz when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did.
Everybody wanted to know about the man behind the curtain.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
That's right. But the man behind the curtain is pulling all the strings.
Child abuse, 100%. My oldest daughter was a huge tomboy till junior year, and now
Amen.
the girliest girl I have ever met.
That's right. Let kids be who they want to play with now. Do whatever, but tell them you're a girl. You're always going to be a girl. You're a boy. You're going to be a boy, and let them do whatever they want to do. Whatever they want to do. I mean, I've got my granddaughter is preoccupied with cars. She loves cars. It could be because her daddy is too, and her grandpa is too. But that does not make her a boy. She can go over there and play with dolls with the best of them. But boy, that girl likes cars, which is, quote, typically a boy thing. Do whatever you want to do, little kid. Just play. But then you've got a little girl. Don't forget to put that bow in her hair.
Exactly.
Put her in cute little shoes. Tell her she's feminine. Tell her you go out there and you have as much fun with those cars and those Tonka trucks, but you're still going to have a dress on with your cute little bow because you're feminine. You can be a feminine badass and like cars.
Well, this is because this is some of the stuff that's happening in this country. And you try to take and tear apart people and divide people and whichever. We saw it happening with America. Hell, listen, I mean, Eric Adams, he's the mayor of New York. He came out of the gate with a bunch of high flying optimism. And then he started getting railroaded because of immigration. And Donald Trump even came to his back and he's like, listen, let's not attack Eric Adams too much because he answers to somebody else, the ultra liberal governor of New York, Catherine Hochul, who also is taken part and allowed Donald Trump to go through the hell that he's going through on trumped up charges in ultra liberal New York City. And when Donald had his back, Eric Adams, he's like, well, he needs help, but Eric Adams is just trying to do whatever he can because at one point in time he was talking against crime in New York and how he needs to attack it. And then of course we saw him getting yelled at on a plane last week by, you know who, the anti-Israeli group, the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah, on a plane because they feel as if they can say whatever they want, whenever they want, in your face, blah, 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 whatever, hate-filled speech because they're protected by the media. Eric Adams, listen to him come out talking about the fact that you're even having to have this discussion. We talk about flags and how the group in North Carolina protected their flag, the boys, the Jewish American students at the University of North Carolina. Listen to Eric Adams talk about what's happening because apparently classrooms are now putting up other countries' flags in our public school classrooms.
That's our flag, folks. Don't take over our buildings and put another flag up. That may be fine to other people, but it's not to me. My uncle died defending this country.
Good for you.
And these men and women put their lives on the line. And it's despicable that schools will allow another country flag to fly in our country. So blame me for being proud to be an American.
Well
and I
said.
thank Commissioner Daughtry for putting that flag back up. We're not surrendering our way of life to anyone.
I love that he just said that.
Wasn't that powerful?
That was powerful. That was.
And guess what? Eric Adams is a Democrat.
That's right. That's right.
It's okay to love America if you're a Democrat.
It is. Please,
and
Democrats,
to promote
love our country.
America.
That's right.
We can find some common ground. Let's start with the love of country, which is what we don't see from the Democratic Party, though. We just don't.
We don't. We don't. And I wish we would. I like that. And when he came out, there was such promise in him, even though we knew he was Democrat. And I think that's why Donald Trump knows that about him. I think he's innately a good man. I think there are some Democrats. I did not say liberal leftists. There's still some Democrats that do love this country. And the two-party system is a good thing. I mean, you have to have checks and balances. As much as I am not a Democrat, I have never been a Democrat, but I know some very good Democrats that have reformed themselves and now are conservatives. But we have to, this is where I talk about reaching across the aisle to an Eric Adams or whoever. We have to embrace the good Democrats, because if we don't, we're in big trouble. So many conservatives think, I hate you just because you're a Democrat. That's not the approach we should take anymore. We need to reach across the aisle and love on the sane Democrats.
Eric Adams, thank you, at least
Yes.
for saying it.
Yes, that was profound.
The chat line says, not only does he answer to Catherine Hochul, he answers
sure
to
does.
Obama and Valerie Jarrett. So he gets stuck. Paul says, and of course, we love it when you guys jump into the platform.
Love their comments.
About 1,000 comments a day in 2 hours, whatever. You guys are amazing. We try to get to as many of them as possible. Of course, if you're new to our show, Lizzie is dominating the chat line.
Well, I'm trying to pay attention to everybody if I can.
Unfortunately, Adam's way of life is way different than mine. At least he loves the flag. Now he needs to love all the citizens of New York.
I agree, Paul.
It's not easy being in politics, that's for sure. And we try to bring light to everything that we possibly can. And we appreciate you liking, subscribing, sharing the shows on all the platforms that you're on. Also of interest, and I just saw this coming down. I'm going to need to look it up, but I appreciate when you guys send us the stories that you do. But a headline, and if you guys know more about this, this just came out today that President Biden has just quietly finalized the transgender mandate attacking people of faith, meaning Christian health sharing ministries provide an ethical alternative to traditional health care. So it is supporting. And Glenn, you sent me this. If you have any more information, let me know, because we try to do breaking news here as well. And this would coincide with the story that we were talking about when it comes to transgender and biological males competing in female sports. But it is fascinating to find what you can and can't say when it comes to the quote attacking people of faith, I guess from the standpoint of insurance. And of course, we covered those stories here, news headlines, politics, Monday through Friday. News, water cooler talk, you name it. We're trying to get that information out. We just see the country being attacked from so many different parts where you see even a Democrat mayor has to say, keep our flags in the classroom. I mean, what?
Yeah, that's sad that even needs to be said. And there's classrooms that literally take down the American flag, as he was saying, and put up gay pride flag, or even put up whatever kind of flag. You rarely see the American flag taken down with a police officer flag. You see it in conjunction to. I just don't understand where your thinking is that you're going to take the American flag down. If you have an American flag and you want to fly one of your other flags, knock yourself out. But the American
have
flag
at it.
Yeah, whatever flag you want to do. I do too. I periodically, in addition to my American flag, have a blue line flag or a FJB flag up, or a Christian flag, or the Missouri flag, whatever. But that American flag better be on the top and larger, period. It's because America, without the freedoms that America is still giving us, the rest of the flags don't matter.
Isn't it interesting that these hate groups, they go after the flag? If the flag didn't mean anything, they wouldn't care.
That's right. But they know it means something.
Because evil only goes after things that are good.
That's right.
Things that are a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Institutions, people, places, businesses that are a threat.
Mm-hmm.
That's where evil goes. Evil does not go to anything that they feel is compromised.
Correct.
Or has any sort of pull. It's pretty simple again. Life can be pretty damn simple. They would have no voice without that flag from the chat line. Next will be blue line issues again from the chat line.
Oh, yeah, for
Greg
sure.
says one nation under God. Again, the flag means a lot.
Amen.
And the more you talk about it and show it, the more it becomes commonplace. Not hiding it, not saying, well, I'm worried about offending, my neighbor Muhammad down the street,
Well,
or
Muhammad
whomever.
needs to get a grip.
You
Muhammad
just,
does
you
need to
just,
get a
this
grip.
is America.
That's right. You know what? And you don't even have to be political. If you don't want to put up a political sign in your front yard, you can still just fly the American flag. Just fly the American flag. And if Muhammad is offended, Muhammad can go home.
Yeah.
Go home. Go home. Take your Tonka trucks and go home.
From the chat line, and we appreciate you guys jumping on. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. And of course, you can jump in on the chat line from any of those platforms with Facebook, X, YouTube, Cloud Hub, Rumble. We appreciate you guys doing this. But evil preys on weakness. Have the eyes on another point away from what's truly important. And when we talk about some of those things, we talk about the border. These things are still happening. We haven't forgotten about what's going on with the border. But guess what? For the last 2 to 3 weeks, all of a sudden, how many politicians, how many situations of government do you see focusing on the border now? There's zero.
Zero.
And this is in the midst of proof and evidence, and Ron DeSantis in Florida doing an amazing job bringing up the fact that Joe Biden and his government have now been sending in illegals, flying them into Florida, into 3 different airports. So they are trying to find them now and deport them. But that's what the Biden administration has been doing. And if you don't think that's enough when it comes to our border and bringing in all kinds of bad actors, guess what else is now a quote allegedly being considered? Joe Biden is now is considering flying in refugees, and lots of them from Gaza, flying and bringing them into this country.
I hate that.
Come on into America as we see what these groups are doing to college campuses across America.
That's right. Well,
He says he's actually considering hasn't done it yet. I don't know if there's a political backstory, but or trying to get some sort of clout somewhere somehow. I don't know. And obviously it's not his own brain that's doing this. Somebody else is
doing it. Yeah.
What the play is here. Let's bring in refugees from Gaza and make them American citizens.
You know where they're already getting flown into? They're already getting flown into Hawaii. My husband's aunt called last night, really all upset that everyone in Hawaii is talking about 2 things, that no one else is talking about what happened in Maui. Everybody's forgot about it. But who is showing up in that area where there's like nothing is they're being flown in the middle of the night as people now are Middle Eastern taking part of that area over. That's where Joe Biden is already sending them. They're deflecting it. It's already happening in Hawaii.
Illegals into
Maui and into parts of Hawaii.
What, Maui instead of Honolulu?
Well, they're going to Honolulu too. But what she wanted to bring up was there's a lot in Honolulu right now. But you know that area where there was all those fires that we thought Oprah Winfrey had something to do with it?
Right.
Now, maybe she did. I don't know. But they're being flown in that area. And a lot of them are living amongst the ruins there. And they're being flown in the middle of the night. And David's aunt is somebody that's pretty pragmatic. She's going to go and she's going to look. And she's done a lot of research. She works for volunteers for the Republican Party there. And that's the biggest thing they're talking about right now. They're already being flown in Hawaii. So they're there. So when you go to Hawaii, it's probably, maybe 2 years from now, it's not going to be the Hawaii,
Well, Paul says, Vic, they're already flying these people in from Palestine right now.
They are. And this is a deflection that they're saying they're gonna do it. They're already doing it.
And that's why they want to control all media, guys, out of sight, out of mind. And then you don't know the evil that sits before you because you don't see it or hear about it. And life goes on. The fact that we have a sitting president, once again, the worst president in the history of America, and the evidence proves it, the facts are there, considering in the same time period that they're doing what they're doing, promoting hate against innocent college kids, innocent professors, that's a problem. From the chat line, wasn't it bad enough when he brought all the refugees after the Afghanistan debacle? You know what, though? But with Afghanistan, if you remember, he left Afghanistan's behind.
Yes, he did.
Afghans were left behind. People who helped us for a long time.
Yes, they
left to suffer the
behind.
consequences with the brutal regime of the Taliban.
Yeah.
Going, where are you? They helped us while we were there. Besides leaving a whole arsenal for somebody to fight back with us and our interest around the world
That's right.
of weapons. We left people behind, but now we want to bring in people from Palestine
That's terrible.
and present it as a heartfelt story. He left Americans behind as well.
And don't ever forget that they left Americans and equipment to be used against us in other places.
And we still have families trying to figure out what the hell happened with the 13 who died with the bomb when they could have stopped it and refused to stop
And they're
it.
not getting any answers.
Unfortunately, that, we broadcast out of the St. Louis, Missouri area, and we had a family affected who we've talked with.
Yeah.
And those are issues that they never go away.
They don't ever. No.
So, we do what we can, we control, but the border is still having major issues. Our country is still flying illegals in. Don't think because it's not in the news that it's not happening. This continues to happen on a daily basis. Look around your neighborhoods, look around town. You see what's going on. And as Megan says, remember, American hostages still in Gaza.
That's right.
Americans who were killed there on October 7th. Jill says, apparently Biden has been and is still currently sending $40 million per week to the Taliban, per an Afghan American top-ranking military official still working with the Afghan resistance forces currently. If that is true, Jill, my God. He was a guest, as she goes on to say, on the Sean Ryan Show podcast last week. And you know what? I believe it.
I believe it too. We had Zizi here, and we are going to have her on again soon. She concurs with that because she's been on our show before, and she's trying to help American intelligence. I can't say much more about what they're saying, but that's exactly going on. That is going on. And she told people to keep your head on a swivel right now, because our money, we don't even have enough money for resources for our own military, and they're purposely weakening our military.
It's all for a purpose.
It's all, we know it is. I don't even want to keep speaking it into existence, what the purpose is, but Jill's exactly right about what that guest said. It is definitely happening.
$40 million per what? Per week?
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I can't even, I'm trying to look up the information now going, you have got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm looking right now to find from that podcast.
Well, and Chris said that he will send me the interview from the Sean Ryan about what's going on with all the immigration issue too. And he does. He's somebody that really vets his guests, like we do too. We really vet our guests. Some people, you can't believe everything that you hear, even on conservative shows. They just say everything that's their opinion is the gospel truth. But there are some shows too that vet and really figure out who their guests are, because you have to, because anybody can come in here and tell you anything as it's the gospel truth, and it isn't. But the one thing that we do know, say if you don't even know what happened on the Sean Ryan show or anything, you do know something is just not adding up. And that's why you need to go do your research.
Okay. So the border's wide open. We have illegals coming across the border, being flown into American cities, proof of that, including Hawaii. We have a president that is considering bringing in, quote, what he calls refugees from Gaza. Things cannot get any worse. And all the Democrats want to do is talk about Donald Trump in court, Donald Trump in court, Donald Trump in court. Donald Trump's a bad man. Look at the video. Here's some video. Check out San Diego and the privilege. We've shown you video of this in the past when it comes to illegals who don't have documentation to fly like you and I do, but getting free passes and their own lines. Look at this.
Because they don't have the proper documentation to show.
Sound and people will hear what's happening and videotape
At San Diego Airport get their own line to check in because they don't have the proper documentation to show. They're being flown around the country on our tax dollars.
You betcha they are.
What the truck? What the truck? What the truck? Are you freaking kidding me?
It's happening all over.
Expose it whenever you can. There is nothing wrong with exposing that.
You have to expose it. You have to. This
This-
is going on everywhere.
Once again, how could any legal citizen in America consider a vote for the Biden administration?
Mhm. Yep. And Jeannie's saying she would not get on that plane. I wouldn't get on that plane either. What would you do, Vic, if you see this? And I would say 80 to 90% of them, you absolutely know they're illegal. What would you do? Would you get on the plane?
Yeah. If
You
I got my
would?
ticket, if I bought my ticket for a plane, yeah. I'm not rich. I can't go fly private.
I don't know. I think I'm with Jeannie. If I thought that they were all mainly illegal, and it's like me and my, like, say, 2 of my kids by myself to get on the plane, you're right. I'm not rich either. I can't do that. But don't you think that's a little scary?
Jeannie says not safe, no security. Screw that.
Yeah, and we've told the story here before that, you know, the plane, what are their names? Like the plane security guards, the marshals, the plane marshals. They often don't have them on our planes anymore. So you're not safe up there.
As we bring up this, and we've talked about it for 2 weeks, Joe just gave me an update. And we do give you live breaking news here as we do this live show Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. Cancelthisshow.com. President Biden to give remarks as anti-Israel chaos rages across U.S. campuses. You think?
Yeah.
You think it's about time?
It's about time. And when's he going to do it? Like at 1:00 this afternoon?
I don't know, but they had to give him some shots.
Uh-huh.
He had a really bad week on the campaign trail. It was really bad. And so he's been resting because he can't handle the pressure. He can't handle the drive. He can't handle the appearances. So all of a sudden now he's going to talk because the White House press staff has been all over KJP. No time given, but that's going to be at some point today. I can only imagine what that speech would sound like. And let's hear him call out. And you know there's no way in hell he's going to call out these pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah people. There's no way. Is he going to call out the abuse that we have on video of Jewish students being beaten and any supporters having all kinds of everything thrown at them, blocked from entering classrooms? But just remember, these are the kind of things he should be addressing. But will he?
Yeah. No. You know what he's going to say?
Oh, we need peace. Yeah. Okay.
He's going to say, don't.
Uh-huh. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
He's going to say, don't.
Cockle.
Cockles.
Cockles.
Joe Biden does not warm the cockles of my heart.
Thank you, Joe, for that update. Once again, as Todd brings up what I was getting into, once again, the more you allow, the more they're going to push onto you. Is there a deep state? Yes. Is there a yeah, they're pushing this stuff on us on a daily basis.
Yeah.
We can't fly anywhere without our IDs.
Right.
Yet the illegals are being allowed to fly anywhere with them.
And we're often being pulled to the side.
And then you're allowed to vote in many states without an ID. Yet we have to have IDs to do everything.
Yeah.
Beer, cigarettes, playing kids' sporting events, all the things that we need when it comes to IDs. Think about it. And this is happening right there in front of you. But we're like, oh, yeah, we're America. Everything's great. Everything's comfortable here.
We love everyone.
We're the country that's going to live forever in prosperity. But as we are, and as we see, we're that car that had a full tank of gas cruising down the highway on that long trip. And we're in fume age right now. The light is on. We need gas, and there's no gas station.
That's right. That's right.
The corn pop cockle.
The corn pop. We're like the Roman Empire is what we're like. And we didn't learn from that. It's like we're no longer the greatest in the world. We are being just broken apart.
But the video is just so damn disrespectful.
It really, yeah.
And that's where it's like, my God. And we're going to continue to, and of course, this in the midst of, Ukraine, us being told Ukraine's going to become a NATO member. Our military is defeated. There's nothing good happening in America when it comes to policy driven. There's just not. It's not happening. The other issue is, thank God, last night you had Ron DeSantis coming out and going after Biden for the considering of bringing refugees even to this country.
Right.
I mean, he literally said, if you try to bring them, they're not coming to Florida. And that's what you're going to have. You're going to have governors say, we'll be removing them.
Yep. They're out of here. That's right.
where we continue to try to find some sort of way in all of the craziness that continues to happen.
That's right.
I don't know. I mean,
I'd love to really know. Speaking of DeSantis, I know this is kind of off the topic, but I would have loved to have sat and understood the meeting between Trump and DeSantis. And I just would have loved to have sat there.
he's raising money. He's going to.
Oh yeah, it's all fundraising stuff, which you have to have, and Donald Trump is helping him fundraise. But also, it goes the other way around. DeSantis is doing that as well, and I think that's great. So,
but I know it's just Americans. We're just trying to wake people up. We're trying to make sure that people understand what's happening, and if you don't, shame on us. Shame on us, because we already know things are not going to get any better.
that's right. And if you didn't know that, what you thought about any of this before, I like what Glenn says. There's a reason why the surrounding Arab nations won't take the refugees.
Not one.
Not one. No one.
They don't take refugees.
That's right.
Because they know what they're getting.
Yep.
Let me repeat that for all of you mask wearing, unlawful people called cowards who beat innocent people on campus.
That's right.
Because of their culture. None of the other Muslim countries are taking
any of them.
Not one.
Nope.
You know why? Because they know what they're getting.
They know they're bad. They know they're bad.
Why aren't the Muslim, and you don't see media talking about this, ask those, oh, we're emboldened students, we know what we're doing. Ask them about that. Where are they? Why aren't they taking the refugees from Gaza? Yet America will?
Yeah.
There's more to the story. Once again, more to the story than meets the eye.
If they can't bring us to the war, they're going to bring the war to us.
And that has been something
Wow,
I've
well
been
said.
saying for years, Joe. You're absolutely right. We're not going to the war, so they're bringing it here. It's always been safer, we've been told, and we believed it, to fight the wars elsewhere, not here. And now it is here. It's here. I mean, we're dealing with when you send your kid to college and you expect the hippy dippy, 60s people going around on a college campus, you always have those freaks. But this is different. This is not the same. These are people that are coming here to fight the war here. Exactly what Joe said. And our government, as Kevin is saying, our government knows they're bad too. They know it. And that's why people do think our government is bad. They know they're bad, but they're here for all of their political gain, power, money. And if you are somebody that wants to deep dive, you know that the World Economic Forum and all the people way up there thinks that we're terrible people. Vic, what most people don't understand is these people that are elitists, they don't like us even breathing their air. They want us to depopulate. That's why they like abortion. That's why they want to come and hurt us. That's why they're promoting good families only have 1 or 2 kids. They want to take us out, completely out, because we're taking their airspace. And when you say that to somebody that hasn't researched this, they think you're out of your mind. But that's really the bigger picture.
Well, that's why we try to bring up facts. We're not Looney Tunes. And people know we're just trying to bring out truth. I was in local news for 25 years. I know what happens and how the stories aren't told. The full stories are never told. And of course, that's why there is no audience in local news anymore, or even barely an audience on CNN. They barely have a heartbeat. MSNBC has a little bit more of a heartbeat. But that's why we do what we do. And it's so important. And it's important what you guys do and how you join us every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. And we appreciate if anybody can donate to our free speech cause. We have a donate button on our website, canceltheshow.com. You can get it from your laptop or your phone, because we're going to continue to try to educate and bring these things to light and get it out to as many people as possible, which is why we ask you to like, subscribe, and share the show, because we know what we're doing is important. We know what we're doing is valuable. And we know what you guys do to help this show is valuable.
It's very valuable. Yes, they're so informed, and they send us information, and then we look it all over. And most of the time we prepare the show, but our listeners will come right out with things that you can back up. And like Kevin says, this is kind of a general statement, but like Kevin's saying right now, our government has declared war on its citizens. I'm going to say that again. Our government has declared war on its citizens. And if you think that's not true, your head is in the sand.
Jill says recently heard, quote, the target from the audience speak that you were talking about, Lizzie, the target of a work population, just 500 million.
That's true.
That's scary
true.
stuff.
It is scary stuff.
But
can
you look
see
at what's
that.
happened over the last few years in depopulation events, cupcake, other things before the cupcake. It makes you wonder.
It does make you wonder.
Yeah, there's always, I mean, there's more to the story. There's more to the story than meets the eye. A connects to B, B to C. It's all there. It's just most people don't want to do it. And if you do try to study and see what's going on, and you talk about it publicly, if you're not in the right groups, then people will come after you or attack you or try to make you out to be something that you're not. Oh, just whatever. You don't know what you're talking about.
And it's only one of two things if they come at you that way. They do know that you know what you're talking about, and it makes them feel squeamish, or they agree with the people that think that, or their head is in the sand. There's no happy medium.
But just remember, all of these people causing chaos across the country the last 2 weeks, saying that we need help. We represent Muslim countries, Muslim ideas, pro-Palestine, pro-Hezbollah, pro-Hamas. Yet not one of your damn Muslim countries will accept one of those people from Gaza.
No, I don't know why people are more fearful.
That's got to be a knife to the heart. Think about that.
Think about that. And I'm going to say it again.
Muslims don't support Muslims unless it's a situation that's going on where, oh yeah, as long as we're attacking Israel or somebody who we don't like or don't agree with.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and I know that I say it and it makes people feel uncomfortable, but you have to understand they're coming here because they are bred and taught in schools to hate Americans, to hate the infidels. They're not coming here to be your friend. They're absolutely not. They're coming here to take from you what they think they deserve and then ruin you.
Well, we've already seen what's happened under Joe Biden. We have lost our place in America, in this world, in a variety of ways. When the cat's away, the mouse will play. We know that. We were a strong country, not as strong as we could have been, but strong and getting stronger under Donald Trump. We are weak in every single facet.
We are.
We have been pillaged. We have been taken for everything that we have. Get while the getting's good. And of course, now you have an election coming up, and don't think for a second the deep state that Trump talks about for anything wants to see what they have done stop or get pushed back. It's going to happen. And yes, they're infiltrating every single area of our American life. What would be the attitude of a refugee from Gaza towards our country?
Well, it's pretty obvious
That
to
coming
people
from
that
the
look,
chat line as well.
They don't like us. They don't.
Well, if you see in most of these encampments, the number there's a big chant, "Death to America." Yet we have people in the Biden administration considering bringing them here when no Muslim countries will accept them.
You know, it's almost like people are getting desensitized,
Of course.
to something that 20 years ago, if they have seen people that are Middle Eastern marching on our college campuses, blocking traffic like they did in St. Louis City yesterday, they would have been terrified, thinking that these people that are the Middle Eastern descent are over here saying death to America. We would be petrified and in our bomb shelters. And now we just, they don't,
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa brings up an interesting point too. Here, and get what you guys think about this. Most of the time, Lizzie, that is correct. She says, but her sons have been able to Americanize Muslim friends who now hate the violence and the thuggery happening because they've been Americanized.
Well, but it depends. Okay.
But if you truly have your American eyes,
Americanized. That's the key
But we're
word.
losing our Americanization.
That's right.
By the second.
That's exactly right. And I made a blanket statement. I understand that there are some people that are here that are Middle Eastern that don't even practice their religion. I'm not talking about them. I'm truly not. But it's the people that are here that practice their religion. If you've never picked up their quote Bible, pick it up, read it. They hate you. When we read the Bible, we are taught that when Jesus Christ came to save us, we are all love. There's still rules, but we are love. They are taught to hate you. So if you work at MasterCard,
We're taught to love our neighbors.
we are taught to love our neighbors.
Whether we do or not.
Yeah, even if we don't. Sometimes we don't. But if you've got, say you work at MasterCard, and I know I've got listeners here that work at MasterCard or Boeing, and you're sitting next to somebody that's Middle Eastern, and they've been here for years and years and years, and they don't even practice that faith. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people that are coming over here by the thousands and thousands that march on the street. That is something 20 years ago we would have been terrified. And now we just think, it's no big deal. But it is a big deal, you guys. It's a big deal.
I just get so pissed thinking about all these things that are going on. But love our enemies is a tough one, according
to Robert. It is,
but
we still have to pray for them because prayer does work. And
we are Christians, Vic. That's why all of the comments coming from the chat line.
That's right.
How about we change things up a little bit?
Let's do it.
As we all know, climate change, global warming does not exist. Okay. There's no scientific evidence of it.
None.
I'm sorry. You can have trends, but we don't have the total change. And if you don't believe me, ask Dave Murray, one of the best forecasters in the history of America.
He really is.
And he's not some hardcore far right guy. He just says there's no evidence of it.
Right.
Despite those messages. And by the way, we have some funny videos. We were supposed to be underwater in many cities in America, underwater by like 2005, 2010, 2015, 2020. It's a farce. It's a political game. We already know that. Make money, get money, do what we can, blah, 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 blah. Well, check out these jeans. And now, did you know that jeans are a problem?
No, I did not know that.
There is a carbon price tag for the cost of your jeans. You didn't know this, did you?
I did not know this.
Now,
I did not know.
Oh, yeah. Now the climate culture is going after
our blue jeans.
Our blue jeans.
Well, thank God neither one of you and I have on blue jeans today because we'd be ruining the planet.
Ever notice that everything American is bad for the environment?
That's right. Like your Levi's turned woke a couple years ago.
Yeah, they did. A pair of fast fashion jeans is worn just 7 times. To each wear products as much carbon each time you wear, it produces as much carbon as driving 6.4 miles.
Stop that.
Fast fashion jeans produce 2.5 kilograms of CO2 per wear. For traditional jeans are worn 120 times. So you can't wear fast fashion jeans now because it has a toll on the environment.
Well, I'm so glad
wearing
you warned
them,
me.
What the hell is going on?
That makes no sense. So is it if you wear them or leave them in your closet causes the damage? I'm not sure about that.
Them just existing, I think.
Fast fashion jeans, and when you wear them and take them out. Megan says it's time to get my parachute pants out. Yeah, too legit to quit.
Yeah, that's right.
Connect the dots. Humans must die.
That really
humans are bad
die
for the environment.
Yep.
That God created for us.
That's right. That's what they really believe. That is part of their depopulation plan.
David says, but I thought jeans were made in China.
That's right. So I'm not sure why they don't like them. You know,
can we see the picture again when you get a chance, Joe, if it's not deleted yet? Mine, the last 4 years, what are they talking about? So it gives you the carbon cost of your jeans and the issues of wearing fast fashion jeans. Wait a minute. Fast fashion jeans are only worn an average of 7 times. What the hell? That may not be our audience.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I know I wear my jeans.
Where's that
a
audience?
Lot. The older
Beverly Hills
jeans,
Naples,
the better they feel.
Yes, they conform to your body.
Yeah, I like old jeans.
What the hell is wrong?
Well, like
all
Don
this
is saying,
stuff that gets us out of whack.
They make up words. Like the big word in industries today is sustainable. So maybe those jeans just aren't sustainable to the environment.
Yeah, and Glenn says, did they have jeans 20,000 years ago when the glacier melted and formed the Great Lakes?
I bet they did. I bet they had Jordache jeans.
I didn't see any cavemen running around in Levi's.
That's right. That's because
cows are bad for the environment. Well, we've broken that one down before. By the way, I had a scientist explain it to me. Okay, he says it's not that the cows and the cow farts are bad. He says it's, and we know that that's stupid.
Right.
He's like, but what is an issue? What is the problem is selfish companies who make bad food and stuff natural animals with unnatural things
Mhm.
And then that combination is what can produce bad gases. Because
There's
we are,
nothing worse than a bad gas.
well, I know.
That's what the left said. Don't, God forbid you fart in a room of liberals.
What?
Did you know that in cow feed there's anhydrous, which
Correct. This is
and
what it
that's
is.
what causes the gas.
Anhydrous is what is produced.
And they put that in there in the feed.
This is humans doing it.
Mm-mm.
It's not because it's a global warming climate change problem.
Mhm.
It's always a human doing something
Yeah, the human did it
illegal
to the
or wrong.
cows.
This is not an issue of that standpoint.
Poor cows. Leave those cows alone.
As David reminds us, more animals are killed by plowing under a field than cows eating the grasses.
That's so true. That is so true.
Big food, big pharma, 10 times worse than
Mm-hmm.
even our government.
You know, you keep your eyes peeled. Speaking of cows and farms and all that, keep your eyes peeled.
Uh-oh, for what?
So just, you know, we'll do this in maybe next week about what the farmers are saying about some of our politicians. They're really getting vocal. They're really getting vocal.
How so? Really?
They're getting vocal about who they want, who they don't like, because we need farmers. We absolutely like.
Hell yeah, we
We
do.
need police officers. We need farmers. And the farmers are coming out and talking about, of course, they don't like Democrats. They don't, but they have certain types of politicians they want, and they don't want the unhinged ones that do nothing. So the farmers are going to get loud. Just watch what's going on and watch the farmers. Watch who they're voting for.
And they're currently shutting down Amish farmers too.
Correct.
That nobody's
Correct.
talking about because they're
not.
Amish.
That's right. You're exactly right. So watch the farmers. They're going to get loud between now and August, and then August and November.
How do you know this? Are you on the farmer beat?
I
like this, Lizzie.
I have some really good inside farmers that have been reaching out to me every day for about the last 3 days, and we'll probably be having some of them on. They are very loud on who you should vote for.
Okay. You mean just from a presidential standpoint?
Presidential standpoint. Of course, they all want Trump. Okay. So that's it. But even at your local levels, all across the United States, who you need to pick. You need to pick somebody who gets things done. Look at who you want to have. Don't pick the loudmouth conservative that's posting every 5 minutes, because they do nothing for the farmers.
I love to hear it. Robert says, I love the farmers.
Yeah, we
Glenn
got to
says,
back our farmers.
I'm starting to enjoy this global. Oh man, our chat line goes so damn
I love
fast.
it. Uh-huh.
Can you get to that one? Because I can't get to it that fast. I love the chat line from Glenn. We try to get to the comments as best as we can, but we have, thousands of them that come in. Glenn was just talking about how he loves the globe. I'm starting to enjoy the global warming when we were getting 65 degrees days in January and February.
That's right. That was good global warming. That was definitely.
Donna says, just saw that there's sawdust filler in our pet food to save money. It's in our foods as well. Megan says, and here I am only worried about our country turning into a communistic hellhole, and I need to be more climately aware of my
That's right.
genes. So selfish.
Oh, yeah.
And
How dare you? Shame on you.
And now Great Value is getting their corn from Thailand that has lead in it.
So keep in mind, Joe's got a whole thing.
We got
coming up
we got a
about
corn story tomorrow, right, Joe?
that. Are you doing the corn story tomorrow?
Can we see you on camera, and can you promote this?
Yeah, because tomorrow, guys, of course, we're going to have Kelly and we're going to have Eric, but we're going to be between Joe and I, we're going to really start talking about what's going on in our food.
My God, and the killer cicadas are coming.
That's right. It's like, come on. It's not your cicadas you need to worry about, but you do need to worry about your corn, don't you, Joe?
Yeah. So long story short, and tomorrow I'll go into more detail. What you order online to have delivered to your house is not what you get.
That's correct. You got to be really careful, because go to the store and look.
The labels are different.
That's part of the reason they've gotten us used to DoorDash and delivery and whatever, because sometimes what you order is not the exact item. It looks exactly the same, but it's bad for you stuff, because it sounds crazy for me to say. They want you to stay home. They want you to get fat, not happy, but they want you to eat lead. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff Joe's going to talk about.
Just look at
tomorrow.
your labels. That's
look
all
at your
I'm
labels.
saying.
Well, how did you get turned on to this, Joe? What happened?
I saw a meme about it, and then my girlfriend went home and checked the cabinet, and sure enough, we had a can of each, and the labels are very telling, and we'll see tomorrow.
That's right.
According to Biden, though, global warming is the most existential threat to the United States. Remember, that dumbass said it.
You're right.
Existential. The biggest threat
Mm-hmm.
to the United States is global warming.
Global warming. Just stop it. I mean,
while illegals are spreading across our border with fingers up in the air, dropping their trash all over the border that our good friend John Rourke and the Great American Cleanup are having to clean up after.
That's right.
I would like to add really quick, because we've announced that we're doing this story tomorrow. If there's anything wrong with the platform that you get on to watch us tomorrow, go to Rumble.
Rumble or X?
X.
Or X.
I would say X.
X.
X. I would say X. Yeah, because if something happens, because this is what we're going to talk about. Usually when Joe goes to these deep dives, something happens on our platforms. They just do.
Dun, dun, dun.
So tomorrow, if it goes down, go to X or Rumble for sure. Now we're praying it doesn't go down tomorrow, but Joe opens his mouth and our platforms go down.
I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
I do love this. Gordon Ramsay just broke ties with Tyson Foods due to what they are adding to their products. They're taking the quote Eatsy bugs comment to heart.
Isn't that interesting? Gordon Ramsay, we would really.
You motherfucker, get that shit out of my food. Who the fuck do you think you are? Get that shit out. I can already see that.
Yeah. You don't want to mess with him. And I have a big feeling that dude.
Thank you, Gordon Ramsay. We want you on Cancel This.
And Gordon Ramsay is a chef and he's not womanized at all. That goes back to a comment I made earlier.
What do you? Oh,
like when your little boy is 3 years old and he's acting like he's a chef.
Yeah, but I know lots. I know lots of masculine male chefs.
Me too. That's my point.
He also said white supremacy was an existential threat.
Yeah,
he did.
He did.
White supremacy and global warming. God help us. Those are the only problems, the massive problems in America. Are you kidding me? My God. Then they're trying to bird flu created.
That's right.
Attacking our meat sources on top of that. We need to bring up KJP was talking about this, the White House press secretary. And she's like, well, I don't eat meat. She's just like, well, I don't eat meat. Some of you or maybe all of you do. And she's just she did a press conference yesterday about this. Some of you or all of you. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I've got I'm not even going to get into the meat subject right now. Anyway.
Well, we can.
Trish says, I love this show. Thank you guys. We appreciate all your support. We really do. Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central and all the time on our website, canceltheshow.com, on all of the sites, as we were just talking about, X, Rumble, Facebook, Clout Hub, YouTube. We're all there. Gary says he likes the impressions.
Yeah, everybody likes your impressions.
Good.
So when you do that, keep it up because people find them wonderful. When
I wish I could do a Trump. And an Obama. I got a lot of people who could do Trumps.
Yeah, you do Clinton pretty good.
I know.
I love your Clinton.
Just leave me alone. You're a bastard. A bastard Trump. He did as many women as I did. I swear to do anything to that girl. I mean, anything she didn't want. Anyway, we have fun here. We're serious, but we try to have fun as well. Oh my God. Yes, Todd, you're my kind of man. Eat whatever you want.
Eat meat.
Eat meat, eggs, nuts, seeds, and you will have no health problems. I have heard that before. You guys are great. All three of you. We appreciate it. Even Joe, when we don't see him all the time as well.
Everybody loves Joe.
Yeah, we do. I saw his lips move. Okay. Anyway, I'm out, y'all. Coming from Lisa. Guys, we appreciate it. Thanks for supporting everything that we do.
But she's telling us to behave. I'm not sure that
behave.
That's possible. Behave, everybody. Behave.
I did not have sexual relations with that girl. I mean, not in public. Beer, bourbon, barbecue, baby. Let's get it on. We'll be back tomorrow, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, canceltheshow.com. By the way, if you're just coming into the show now, hey, it saves right to all those platforms that we were just talking about. Cancel This on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, on Rumble, on Cloud Hub. And then, of course, if you want to listen to the audio podcast, whatever you're doing throughout the day, you can catch it on all the normal sites. What does it take? About 20 minutes, Joe, usually to get it up? 20, 25?
On average, yeah.
On average, 20, 25 as well. And you can listen, Google, Apple, Spotify, all of those things. And of course, if you know of people that we can partner with, sponsors, advertisers, we're looking to get bigger, better, stronger, meaner. We're lean right now. We want to get thick.
Thick.
I set you up.
I know.
I was waiting.
I know. Thick.
Thank you.
The VIC.
Big Vic energy, baby. We try to bring it every day. Thanks again for all the story ideas, interviews. Tomorrow, Kelly Mano, superstar, social media star. Kelly Mano from the Kelly Mano Show will be on with us. Eric Johnson, superstar when it comes to just his thoughts and band. He had what, 4,000 people out at his last concert?
Yeah, it was huge. He had,
It's pretty big
yeah,
on a rainy night.
very much
So
so.
we'll have
He's kind of a big deal.
he's kind of a big
He's
deal.
kind of a big deal. So yeah, when he comes in, we bow to him. He's kind of a big deal.
Robert said, time to get your Jordanian friend on. Was that Gigi
Zizi.
or Zizi? Get
Yeah.
Zizi back on.
We do need to get her back on.
Chris says, even though I primarily watch on Facebook, I make sure to go back and like on the other platforms to boost the algorithm.
Thank you so much,
Chris.
That
Thank
is a
you so
thing.
much,
That
my
is
friend.
a real thing.
We do appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn has a serious question. He's like, do Muslims eat barbecue?
Most don't, I don't think. I don't think they do. I don't. So you know what? In light of that, I'm going to go have a juicy pork steak with barbecue sauce rubbed all over it.
That sounds so St. Louis.
That's so I am so St. Louis, baby. I am St. Louis. Through and through.
Glenn says, oh, it's just getting mean now. Glenn says people should start having pig roast on college campuses.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. That's
Right
not
next to-
mean. Have a full pig
Oh my
with its
God.
eyeballs looking out and everything, and that should repel them. So hear what he said. I'm going to tell my kids on your campus, have yourself a big old pig.
We love it. We'll be back for our free-for-all conspiracy theory comedy Friday, tomorrow, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, canceltheshow.com. If you guys know of other interviews, just support us. We appreciate it. You guys helping us and just jumping in. The chat line, the People's Podcast, it's what it's about. It's what we do. And, of course, we love what we do.
I got to say one thing. Chris said they only barbecue in the afterlife. But
Oh, I got it.
You
And
got it.
remember, Joe, is there any way as we close out today, can we close out with some of the best video we've ever seen? The one thing, or did we delete it? The one thing that actually brings Palestinians and Jews together. Is that possible to find? Because we showed this in the beginning of our show.
So good.
And if you're just joining us, it is by far the most
Best video
telling.
I've seen in a long time.
It is the most telling stat about Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Because somehow, some way, there is one thing, one issue that brings Jews and Palestinians together.
Yeah. I love
And it
everything
is,
about
and it is a hate of Joe Biden.
the hate of Joe
Who
Biden.
would have thought that an American president, see, now Donald Trump said he was going to bring peace to the Middle East.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Here it
didn't.
is.
But I think we're starting to bring some solidarity to Jews
Yeah. I think so too.
and Palestinians
Yeah. This is a way to
about Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know what this is called fill in the TV business. I'm filling to try to give Joe time to find the video.
I don't remember what the
Oh,
email was.
shit, Joe.
God.
I was so damn good.
You were really good.
I don't remember what the email was labeled.
Now that
Now
we're-
that you said that,
we're not
you've
going
got
to end on a thud.
No.
I'm going to find it for Joe.
Yeah, you do have to find it.
Joe gets an A- for the day.
Whatever.
We're going to give you maybe a B+.
Mm-hmm.
I will find it for you because here's what happens.
I kept the one of the students protecting a flag, but not that one.
That's all right. I wish you would have. I'm trying to find it. Lizzie, our show is hitting some slow waters. Can you keep us going while I find this?
Well, in this video, you have to see the video because if you've already seen it, it's fine. You know how great it is. But a lot of people jump on right as we start to, be at the 9:30-ish time, Central Standard Time. It is so fun. And for anybody like me that absolutely adores the rebel side of, you have your American flag and then underneath it, you have "Let's Go Brandon" on your flag or whatever. Joe Biden is the great divider. He divides us all the time. Donald Trump is the great person.
It was right there for you, Joe. It was the second video.
There
I just sent it
Joe.
again to you.
He's got it. He's got it now. And so Donald Trump, that's why, and I've said this several times this week already, Donald Trump just right now wants the Republicans to simmer down now. Simmer down now. He wants you to not worry about doing some asinine things. Just get along until November. Just get along. Well, this is one way you can all get along, and it's great. Joe's going to play it.
The other, he can't find his own butt. Biden can't.
No,
who would have thought acknowledgement of the ineptitude of the current administration is what brings lifelong enemies together?
Mm-hmm.
I repeat, who would have thought that this could ever happen? Joe, I'm resending it again. and we'll make sure that we get that out to the public so that we can end. You have it already there.
Yeah, what's the email labeled?
Okay, it was pretty simple. It was from Clay Travis, and I sent it to you at, let's see here. I'm going back to you again.
Yeah, a lot of people.
At 6:25 a.m.
Here it is.
Joe.
Here it is. Comes the cackles of my heart right here. This is the best.
And with that, we'll take you out today. That does it for Cancel This. Once again, lifelong enemies finding common ground in the ineptitude of one Joe Biden. For Vic Mouse, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe, we will see you tomorrow for our Free for All show starting at 8 a.m. That does it for this National Prayer Day segment of Cancel This Show.